Security Council. We're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about the so-called African Development Bank loan for the Bamenda Ring Road. The Ring Road, they keep singing. Ever since I was a little boy, I was a teenager in secondary school, I kept hearing Bamenda Ring Road. I remember it was in 1982, ladies and gentlemen, that Paul Biya came to Bamenda and called Bamenda his second home and promised a ring road in Bamenda. Unfortunately, how many years after, there is not even a road can lead into Bamenda. What a shame. I'm going to be talking about that. I got a talking point on that, a very special talking point on that. And again, I will be bringing to you a very special statement from the President of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia. So, ladies and gentlemen, go ahead and hit your share button, and if time permits, I will open the phone lines and have you call and make your own contributions to the show. Thank you for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen. Please go ahead for those of you who are joining by way of Facebook, hit your share button. Go ahead and hit your share button for those of you joining again by way of Facebook. First, I do some housekeeping before I bring in my guest. I want to thank all of you on behalf of this interim government, all of you on ground zero, who continue to push for ghost towns to stay. Ladies and gentlemen, those ghost towns have become the symbol of this revolution. And there is absolutely no way this interim government is going to endorse any calling off of these ghost towns. Not until this conflict, this war is said and done, shall we call it off. So we want to thank you and appreciate you for your tenacity in keeping it going on to let the world and all those diplomats and the international community that lives in Ambazonia and in La République du Cameroon to know Ambazonia, there is no longer any normal life in Ambazonia. So thank you, Victoria. Thank you, Boya. Thank you, K-Town. Thank you, Tico. Thank you, Moyuka. Thank you. Thank you, Mamfe. Thank you, Batibo. Thank you, Mbengwe. Thank you, Mezam. Of course, talking about Bamenda. Thank you. Thank you, Santa. Thank you, Kumbo, Jakiri, Bali, Bafut, and every single town, Menji, every single town in Ambazonia for respecting and honoring ghost towns. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much. The people who want ghost towns to be over, people who are negotiating with La République du Cameroon to cut off, to call off ghost towns, we will call them off. We're not calling off ghost towns, but we will call off those people, cut them off from leading this struggle, ladies and gentlemen. You know, one thing I realize is this. As days go on, as the years go on, you see, people begin to fall by the roadside. People who call themselves leaders, they continue to fall by the roadside. I am talking about those. We came up last week and said, ghost towns should be suspended. A leader who's supposed to be a member of Ambazonian coalition team, he goes out unilaterally and calls for ghost towns to be suspended. The same leader had earlier unilaterally called for a ceasefire. Ladies and gentlemen, we cannot be working together and you sneak behind us, go out clandestinely, and you are talking and negotiating anything with La République du Cameroon. So, instead of any one of you trying to call off ghost towns, we will call you off this revolution. This struggle. We will call you off unless you strengthen up. We will call you off. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Go on hitting your share button. I see over 700 now. I want to see 1,000 before I bring in the ladies here. Ladies and gentlemen, please hit your share button as you join the broadcast. The moment we hit 1,000 people here, I will bring in the ladies who are patiently waiting for me to bring them on. So, this is very, very important. I see men who said they are veterans calling some JJCs just come. The veterans are almost trading us for selfish purposes. We won't allow that to happen. You can take my word to the bank. We won't allow that to happen, ladies and gentlemen. So, ghost towns, they stay. Ghost towns, they stay. People can continue to fall by the wayside. This is a struggle. This is a struggle. I can imagine how many people have fallen by the wayside. Where is Nsot Foncha, who was all this big military guy? Where is Ngu Santos? Where is him? Where are all the KMG people, ladies and gentlemen? You don't hear them any longer. Where are those irrelevant activists? Where are they? Ladies and gentlemen, this thing is for the last man standing. Remember that. This thing is for the last men and women standing. So don't look back. When they falter, when they compromise, look for consistency. Consistency is the word. That is all that we need in any leader in this struggle. The word consistency is all that we need. And when you don't see it, dumb them. All right. Okay, let me take another point here on the subject of the draft. The draft, ladies and gentlemen. The drafts are coming up, but again, I have said it here again and again. You really don't have to wait. You really don't have to wait until your county is drafting or your LGA is drafting for you to draft. We see so much action going on ground zero. We see action coming up from Ndian in the powerful way. We had almost written off Ndian and hoping that other counties will save Ndian, but suddenly the 10 kobolds arise, ladies and gentlemen, and Ndian is in the game right now as we speak. We see what is going on in Ngoketunja, Bamali. I think Bamali is a local government, part of the local governments in Ngoketunja. You saw what is going on. You saw what went on there yesterday with Field Marshal, formerly No PT, and his boys out there. And you see what is happening in Bui. Ladies and gentlemen, let me say something here. I think Bui is the one county that has carried the weight. Anybody else can say anything or do anything, but listen, I think it is Bui that has carried the weight of La République du Cameroon encroachment, assault power. And Bui has proven that they can resist and actually defeat trash La République du Cameroon soldiers. We really want to appreciate those guys out there in Bui. The same thing is happening in of course, Manu is doing a great job. Whoever believed that Manu, after what Sissoko and his guys did, would still be at the forefront of this struggle, ladies and gentlemen. Manu, I give all of you 100% cheers out there. Of course, I cannot even talk of the BLM. And by the way, let me gist something here. Something is cooking and uploading from the BLM. Something happened there today. Something happened there today. I'm going to be talking a little bit about that. If we get the videos I am hearing about, La République will commit suicide. Their soldiers who are left anywhere in Ambazonia, they will begin to commit suicide. I just hope that they can upload those videos from the BLM this morning. I learned that today at around 4:19 p.m. Amber time. 4:19 p.m. Amber time. A lot of public helicopters landed in Minji to pick up their dead, their corpses. I'm going to be coming to that. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is encouragement, incentive enough for us to drive and drive and drive. I have said it again and again. No more standing on the fence. If you were standing on the fence, you were one of those grumbling, oh, we don't see what our contributions are doing. We don't see any firepower on the ground. We don't see any fighting on the ground. I believe by now you would have seen enough of it. Enough of it. And it just keep on growing. It just keep, from county to county, we see fire picking up on ground zero. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen, what La Republic of Cameroon gonna do in the coming days. I don't know what they're gonna do. I saw that thing, newspapers in La Republic of Cameroon yesterday. Oh, mercenaries in Indian, mercenaries invaded Indian and arrested 6 people, mercenaries. That headline, that newspaper headline, guess who is coming from? It is coming from Ndian Ngute, their colonial prime minister. He paid some gumbo journalists, gumbo journalists. Let me ask you, for those of you who are intelligent, to know what a syndicated news agency means. Is there any news syndicated agency in La Republique du Cameroon or in Ambazonia in that matter? Of course, none. There is none. No syndicated news media in Ambazonia or La Republique du Cameroon. But if you should check their newspaper headlines today, Monday, you will see the headline, mercenaries invade Indian. Mercenaries invade Indian. About 5 or more newspapers are carrying these headlines. What do you think when you see that? That is planted. That's a planted or paid for piece of story for those newspapers. So what Ndian Ngute is doing is trying to get Yaoundé to know, no, this is not happening in my hometown. It is not happening in my own division, as they call it. These boys invaded Indian from Nigeria. That is what Ndian Ngute wants Yaoundé to believe. For the shame, and the indictment that will come upon him from his own circles in Yaoundé. And so they buy the newspapers and plant the story and the headline that says, mercenaries invaded India. No, mercenaries, Mr. Prime Minister, did not invade India. Ambazonia fighters whom you and your regime have enslaved for decades. They took up arms to defend their territory, and I'm telling you, wait for news. I'm bringing you news today. I bring you news today. Just buckle your seatbelt there. You haven't seen anything yet with those arrests. I got news for you, sirs. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, please let us drive. Let us drive for our local governments, our counties, and make sure your county or your local government is not left behind in these actions that we'll see on ground zero. If you are giving your money to your local government, to your county, and you are not seeing the fruit of it, begin to knock their doors, call their phones of your chairman or security council, whatsoever, ask them, what is going on? What is my money doing? I learned, for example, that Mezam, that drafted over $450,000 in the last draft, we're seeing very little action in Mezam going on. What's happening to Santa? What is happening to Bambui, my 4, my 3, my 5, my 6? In Nkwen, the only place that is observing ghost town in that matter, over there in Mezam, is in Baminda town. Talking about Mancon and the metropole of Bamenda. Nkwen is cut off. Nkwen is observing life. In fact, let me give you some names here, ladies and gentlemen, of bars, businesses that are operating in Nkwen with impunity, ignoring, defiling ghost town. These are the names. There is one Binam Bar at Nkwen, owned by one Mbunda man. They supply brasseries products. They're selling brasserie products, and they violate ghost towns every Monday. There is also Top Star Bar, and all of these are at Nkwen. They sell brasseries products. Now, if you are an Amber restoration fighter out there, I want you to take note. Take note of these names of these business places, these bars that I named to you. Top Star Bar at Nkwen, Binam Bar at Mobile Nkwen. You have also the bars opposite or beside Villain Pharmacy on Ghana Street. The bars opposite Villain Pharmacy on Ghana Street. You also have Dollar Bar at My Two Junction, and the stores opposite Bayeli Credit Union at Nkwen. Please, restoration forces, you got to stop these bars at Nkwen. You also have the Amen Brasserie Distributor at First of License in Damokong. Also, all bars along in Damokong, Ghana and Cow Street, who are operating, that are operating on ghost towns, they have to be stopped. Dreamland Bar. They also distribute brasseries products. Bonaprizo Bar. They also do the same thing, distributing brasseries products and violating ghost towns. You have Amu Mezam. Amu Mezam has to be stopped once and for all. P Bread Bar. They supply brasseries products too. Madiba Bar, ladies and gentlemen, all these bars again, they are at Nkwen. And Foncha Junction, all the bars operating at Foncha Junction, please, restoration forces, put all there. Let them know. I am calling these names. Let them know. We know them. We're seeing their violations, their defilement of ghost towns. And, well, you know what will happen to you. Chambo Bar is another one. Chambo Bar and all the other bars opposite Chambo, they are there. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope the restoration forces can get these names. I hope they get these names. The restoration forces in Mezam, particularly in Nkwen LGA. And I hope that Nkwen security team can listen to me and get these names. We're not going to sit here and tolerate Nkwen, filled with francophones, violating or defying our ghost towns every Monday. All these bars I have mentioned, we must make sure they are shut down. They must be shut down. All right, that is very, very critical, very, very important, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take note of that. I want to thank our refugees in Nigeria for the wonderful celebration that we all saw out there taking place in Nigeria as they celebrate, ladies and gentlemen, they celebrate the International Refugee Day. I want you to take a short look at this. Look at our refugees in Nigeria. Our refugees in Nigeria celebrating World Refugee Day. Let me also seize on this opportunity, ladies and gentlemen, to really appreciate. Let me seize on this opportunity, ladies and gentlemen, to really appreciate the work that the Health and Social Services or Social Service Department here at the interim government led by Secretary Emmanuel, or Dr. Emmanuel Tita. the work they are doing over there on ground one with all these refugees. I really love to appeal. I really love to appeal to every one of you out there, every Ambazonian out there. Please, let's help our brothers and our sisters who are in these refugees camp. When you see the images emerging from there, sometimes we really pity what they are going through. These are people who have lost everything, everything. They are not in refugee camps because they have homes back home. No, their homes were burned, their homes were destroyed. They have nowhere to go. They cannot go back home. La Republic would want them to return home. But return home to what? Return home to what? They have nothing to return home to. But for the moment, can we please be that generous enough to contribute to alleviate the pain they already are going through? Your donations are very, very much appreciated. I think there is a pin on the screen here, a payment option where you can, if you are watching by way of Facebook, there is a payment button there, pin on your screen. You can use that link to make a free will contribution to support these, our brothers. Let's stand with them. For being one another's keeper. Thank you very much. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me get into our women who are seated here with me. Last week, the women here at the interim government of Ambazonia petitioned the United Nations Security Council over the humanitarian situation, the killings, the genocide that has been conducted in our territory by La République du Cameroon forces with impunity in that matter. I am joined by Dr. Patience Abidu and three other ladies who would want to enlighten us and enlighten everybody out there what this petition is all about. Dr. Patience, ma'am, it's a pleasure to have you here. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Secretary Chris. Thank you so much for having me. Let me start by thanking all our valiant forces on the ground for the marvelous job they are doing to keep our land safe and secure. I want to thank all our mothers, sisters that are supporting them. And of course, I want to thank our president, Dr. Samuel Ikome, for keeping us on the line, keeping the government doing the right job for our people, and of course for ABC for making sure that the word goes out. Thank you for having me, Secretary Grace.
Thank you. And let me start with you. I know Risha is here. Risha, it's a pleasure to be with you, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Good evening, Secretary Chris. Good evening, fellow Ambazonians. Good evening, fellow Ambazonians. Good evening, women, mothers, aunties, grandmothers, fathers of Ambazonia, all the friends and sympathizers of Ambazonia, our valiant forces. We greet you. I greet you personally for the great job you are doing out there. Our refugees, our IDPs. I say good evening to you all.
All right. Thank you. Ma Emma, the director herself of ABC Amba Television, ladies and gentlemen. Ma Emma, good to see you, ma. Good evening. Or good afternoon there in California.
Thank you. Yes, I'm in California, so it's almost good afternoon. Thank you for having me on the program. I want to salute our refugees. Yesterday is Refugee Day in the camps in mind, and we're happy that the best of the situation.
All right. Thank you for joining the broadcast. Dr. Patience, let me start with you, ma'am. Again, you recently put out a petition to the United Nations Security Council about the human rights abuses, the humanitarian situation, the internally displaced, the killings, and the raising down of towns and villages in Ambazonia. What exactly is the message of your petition, ma'am, to the United Nations Security Council?
Thank you, Secretary Chris, for having us tell this world why we sent out that letter to the United Nations. By the way, there were 2 letters sent out. One was sent to the United Nations, and the other one was sent to President Biden of the United States of America. The reason we felt that we ought to write a letter to the United Nations was because we believe that our crisis, our struggle, has been neglected for too long. I must admit that the reason really was because I felt that they were getting the wrong information from different groups. There was a letter that was sent to them by some women from Cameroon, and that letter was had a lot of misleading information. And I felt that as Southern Cameroonians, as mothers, as women, as daughters, sisters, we ought to pass the right message to the United Nations about what is really happening in Southern Cameroons. We are a nation. We, on the 17th of, on the 22nd of September 2017, we came out with peace plans because we felt that we had been part of a country that did not recognize us as people. We wanted our freedom. And then on the 1st of October 2017, we came out with peace plans again, declaring our independence. So the United Nations has to understand that there are women, there are mothers, there are sisters that are part of that nation called Southern Cameroons that have a voice, that if they are not heard, it's not possible to bring peace to the land. And we felt that our message has exactly all that we think, or most of what we think the United Nations has to do when it comes to Southern Cameroons. We don't see ourselves as part of La République du Cameroun. So our message is very, very particular. We have specific demands that we outline in the message. And one in particular that I want to bring to your attention, Secretary Chris, is something that has really bothered me for a while. And I think that it's really going to be a potential problem in the future. And it has to do with land issue. I think that telling the United Nations that we are a people from Southern Cameroons, the former British Southern Cameroons, we have our territorial boundary. And that territorial boundary has been disrupted. We've had, it has been infringed upon by La République du Cameroun, where land is being taken that is owned by refugees, that is owned by displaced people, and given to French Cameroonians. And I think that that is very important down the road for them to know that it has to be resolved, amongst other things on the petition. I'm going to let my other sisters opine, but we have, there were 7 requests or appeals on that petition. One of them, of course, was for them to release the prisoners of war. The other one has to do with fact-finding mission about this land issue, so that land that belongs to Southern Cameroonians stay with Southern Cameroonians.
All right. Let me get to Russia out there. If I may ask, the people out there will be saying you put out a petition to the United Nations Security Council and to President Biden because of some women in La République du Cameroun who put out theirs. Is that what you're trying to do to counter what they put out there?
The thing is that we are not I would blatantly say we are not running a race. Neither are we competing with anybody. The case of Southern Cameroon is very, very unique. There is no other nation in the world that has a kind of decolonization background that we have out there. And no one will want to refuse that. The people of Southern Cameroon have every right to do what they are doing today. That is why we, the women of Southern Cameroons, former British Southern Cameroons, we know that there is an unfinished business by the United Nations General Assembly. That is why we wrote this letter to them, because they understand the background of the history of this nation. It is where the independence of Southern Cameroon was given with a funny clause attached to it by joining. There was no nation before that said, get your independence by joining, and there has been no other that has this kind of historical background. That is the more reason why, going back to say by joining, the people's decision to join La République wasn't any crime. But crime starts where these steps respected according to Article 5 of this resolution 1608 hasn't ever been respected. No, there was a fair plebiscite in 1961, a corrupt referendum in 1972. The Fumban Conference was also a farce, which has come to the point where we are today, that people said we have been deceived for over 60 years. People have been trampled, people have been manipulated, people have been driven and cheated. They've been maimed up to where we are today. That is why we, the women, we said, let's go back to the drawing board. What went wrong? You are the house where all these things started. We are coming back to you. Look at what is going on. There is La République forces. Since the 30th of September 1961, they positioned themselves in Bongo Square in Boya. Today, they spread themselves in every nook and corner in Southern Cameroon, not only fighting to swallow the land, but they are doing everything to chase the people out. We have the refugees, thousands of them are in Nigeria. We don't know when they will come back. Villages have been burned down. People have been killed. It's some sort of scorch policy. Why wouldn't we write a letter to the United Nations? It's not because the women in French Cameroon wrote a letter. If you read their letter, you will even see that they are saying that there are coupé de route, there are bandits at the Gulf of Guinea, there's Boko Haram, and there is the Northwest and Southwest. We do not identify ourselves as Northwest and Southwest. We are a people with a historical background, with international boundaries, where the Banjul Treaty and every other one has sat up and talked on this case. We have boundaries at independence with La République. So we cannot be pulling strings with the women of La République du Cameroon, because they have a complete different agenda from what we have. We are sorting the history of the people of Southern Cameroon, let their independence be restored, and then from there we can start negotiating, we can talk. And then the humanitarian situation is appalling. It's really appalling in such a way that our letter says, let the troops of La République withdraw from the territory of Southern Cameroon. Let them withdraw, so that children, there should be some buffer zone created by the United Nations, not by La République, because La République cannot create a buffer zone. They are the ones that declared the war. Pobia declared it on the 30th of November 2017 on the people of Southern Cameroon. So if he cannot call off his soldiers to the barracks, then the United Nations should step in and create a buffer zone, at least to stop the killings of children, men, women, boys and girls, interrupting the future of a whole nation and whole generation. Children haven't been to school for 4 years counting. So what do we say? We are not competing with any La République women that wrote a letter because of the Gulf of Guinea or Boko Haram or Coupé de Route in Adamawa and Northern Cameroon. That is not our our cup of tea.
All right.
We want
My
a nation.
I guess you apparently read the statement that the women of La République du Cameroon put out there petitioning the UN Security Council, talking about the need for justice and peace. After I sang it here and sang it here, I don't want to hear anybody talking about peace. Peace, the peace of Saladin, I guess. Now they added the word justice in it, but all they're trying to do is solve this conflict within the context of La République du Cameroun or one Cameroon. What is the difference in what you are seeking and what these ladies are seeking?
Thank you, Secretary. First of all, I would like to call the letter from the Cameroonian women, La République, as a copycat. They are doing what we have written. I will say that for reasons which I'm going to list here and now. First of all, the women who wrote this letter, they have not got what Ambazonia have gone through. We are writing this from our experience, and we know the problem is it's not an internal problem. It has to be solved by a third party, and it has to be negotiated. What they are saying in their letter, they have listed atrocities, yes, but they have not gone to the cause of the problem. A letter does not point a finger at the government because they are part of the government. One of them, as those who know the history of Cameroon will see, is a politician who has been running to be president for the last 15 years. Has always wanted with a republic to be relevant, even though she is Azonian. You see, data does not go to the root. Data does not go in the right direction. We don't want. We are not part of them. We are not part of La République. Problem here. La is the perpetrator of the genocide. How can you say the government is trying to do something about solving this problem? That is what they are like the United Nations, that they are thinking, and it is an internal problem that can be solved. It is the only answer to this struggle in La République to call off the war and the negotiation table with alliance. This is the only way we see forward. And what our own letter is telling the world, which is the truth. People, the women in La République have not lost their children, their fathers, their grandmothers, and every have, except for those who are in the army now are losing their sons on a daily basis. But they now start those who are feeling the pain. They are not the women who wrote that letter. The people who wrote that letter are still up there. They want the state to rescind. Let La République be in charge of everything and run everything and continue the slavery as it is. We are not part of that game. We are not. So the two letters to the United and to President Biden, very different and should be treated differently.
Secretary Chris?
Yes, Dr. Patience, and one last thing before you guys go. What are you expecting from the UN, from President Biden here in the USA? What exactly are you expecting? What actions do you expect him to be taking?
Okay, so we strategically sent out the letter to the Biden administration on the 19th of June, which is here in the United States called Juneteenth. That is a day where slavery was what's the word, eradicated in America. So it's a strategic day for them to realize that there's another nation out there that is experiencing some sort of slavery. And so we sent that letter to the Biden administration. But see, the Biden administration has already, the United States of America has already done a lot. Although not enough, but they've done a lot. In 2019, the Congress wrote a letter to President Biya enumerating the things that the Cameroon government had done and asking them to desist and asking them to find a way to bring about peace in the region. And then before the Trump administration left, they canceled the AGOA, which was the African Growth Opportunity Act. That was repealed so that Cameroonian did not have the Cameroon government did not have the benefit of trade in sub-Saharan Africa. Then in January this year, we are aware of the resolution 1684, calling for these parties involved in the war to really come to the table and talk. That they call us separatists in that resolution. They want the separatists and the government of Cameroon to have some sort of dialogue without any preconditions. So we are pushing on that in our letter, telling the Biden administration that United States has done quite a bit, but we need to go further. The only way to solve this problem, to stop all the suffering of our people, the killing, our refugees living in horrible situations, people trying to leave Cameroon and southern Cameroon, the only way to solve the problem is to make sure that peace is brought in both territories. And how do you bring peace in both territories? You have a conversation, you have a dialogue, and then you negotiate. So we are hoping that based on our letter, something good can come from this. But the fundamental point is this, that every society, every community, in order to thrive, you need the women to be able to be active, to be able to feel free to live and do what is best for their families. No society on earth survives without women being active. So that's why we felt that as women of Southern Cameroon, we ought to tell President Biden, we ought to tell the United Nations that do not minimize this situation. Do not minimize women of Southern Cameroon. Listen to them, and if you really want to do good in that area, push for the Swiss-led process. That is the very most important request in that letter. The Swiss-led process or any negotiation that is internationally mediated. The problem cannot be solved as a domestic problem, which really is what the ladies from French Cameroon wrote. They wanted it to be solved domestically. It cannot be solved domestically.
All right. Thank you, ladies, for being part of the show here. I guess in the coming weeks, we're going to be talking more about that, especially as, when you get in.
Secretary Chris, before I go, I want to make one more comment, please.
Briefly.
It's possible that the list of women who wrote this letter has been shared with some people in La Republique. We are saying that we are here in the United States of America, in the diaspora. We feel free to be able to put this on pen. We represent the women on the ground who want to do the same thing. They cannot put this paper and put out their names because they will be targeted. We represent those women that said objection, those women that say we do not vote for any mayors to represent us. We represent Mami Ambers, all of them, because they cannot do what we did because they will be arrested. That's why we represent them. Thank you, Secretary Chris.
All right. Thank you, my patience, my Russia, my Indale. I hope next time we'll have a little much more time to talk on some of these women issues. Please, you have a great night.
Thank you for having us.
All right.
Thank you, Secretary.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, those of you watching by way of Facebook and television, I will now take you to I will now bring to you the official statement, press statement, coming from the President of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia. I am talking about Dr. Samuel Ekome Sako. This statement has to do with the arrest, not abductions as they want you to believe, but has to do with the arrest in India, ladies and gentlemen, last week by Ambazonia Restoration Forces. Ambazonia Restoration Forces in the Indian, led by the one and only General Ten Kobo, or they call him Field Marshal Ten Kobo, ladies and gentlemen. So again, this is a very, very important official policy coming to you from the desk of the President of Ambazonia, Dr. Samuel Ekome Sako, and it is titled Interim Government's Policy or Policy Directive on Voiding Ambazonia of Colonial Administrators and Facilitators. Voiding Ambazonia of Colonial Administrators and Facilitators. Now, here it goes. Following the media outing on June 16, 2021 of Fowang Lawrence, Colonial SDO of La République du Cameroon for India, reporting an alleged abduction of 6 colonial delegates by Ambazonia Restoration Forces in Indian County, and alleging a request for hefty ransoms by the freedom fighters. Considering the communication difficulties within India and the need to disseminate only verified information when the incident happened, the interim government of Ambazonia elected to delay any detailed public statement or response to the allegations raised by colonial authorities in India until we receive direct reports from our restoration forces in Indian County. As a government in exile, our policy directives or advice to our communities are geared towards safeguarding their lives and integrity during the genocidal war declared on us by La République du Cameroon. Therefore, any decision or response as a result of the enemy's atrocities on our people should be congruent and reciprocal to the pain inflicted on them by La République du Cameroon's regime and her genocidal forces or soldiers. The interim government now ascertains that 6 colonial delegates who engaged in a criminal demarcation or trespass in Indian County were arrested on the 16th of June 2021 by the expandable 100 Restoration Forces, a battalion under the command of Field Marshal Ten Kobo. However, we have been reliably informed that one of the 6 arrested died during a crossfire as La République du Cameroon army attempted an ambush to rescue the detainees. We state unequivocally that, contrary to the allegations from the Cameroon colonial government suggesting that the Ambazonia forces were demanding a ransom before they can free the suspect, no request for ransom was made by Ambazonian forces. The federal government has reminded the Indian County leadership and the leaderships of all counties and local governments in Ambazonia that all colonial agents going forward arrested in line with the interim government policy to purge the Ambazonian territory of all colonial administrators in their genocidal militia, our restoration forces should keep those agents, keep them, and any other arrested ones in perpetual custody. They will not be released until the outcome of a comprehensive settlement or negotiation to this conflict. The interim government also reminds the government of La République du Cameroon and the international community that, number one, our loyal forces will continue arresting and detaining all colonial administrators of La République du Cameroon usurping authority on Ambazonian soil. Number two, with or without prisons, we will hold any La République du Cameroon genocidal facilitator we arrest in custody indefinitely. Number three, going forward, all camps of our restoration fighters will also serve as detention centers. Hence, we preemptively warn La République du Cameroon against any attempts to invade any restoration camp in Ambazonia, so as to avoid the likelihood of putting detainees in harm's way. If La République attacks our makeshift prisons or continues to organize rescue missions in our camps, they should be held accountable for any loss of lives. Should any such attempts to attack our restoration camps result in the death of any prisoner, the interim government congratulates and applauds the efforts and the discipline of the expandable 100 of Ndian County in voiding Ambazonia territory of colonial predators. The interim government has instructed the Ndian County leadership and the leadership of other counties to act as directed by this policy statement. The interim government urges all counties in Ambazonia to intensify the arrest and detention of colonial agents of La République du Cameroon residing, visiting, transiting through, or working in Ambazonia. There should be no resting place for them. We use this opportunity to reiterate the willingness and commitment of the interim government to a negotiated settlement of this conflict between both countries by addressing the root causes of the southern Cameroon's problem under the auspices of an internationally endorsed third-party mediator. Signed, President Dr. Samuel Okomesako, President of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia. That was again a statement from the President, ladies and gentlemen, coming from again Dr. Samuel Okomesako. And let me just make a few points here. Again, going forward, any colonial administrator, whether living or visiting or passing through Ambazonian territory, has a warrant of arrest out there for them. Ambazonian restoration forces have been put on alert, and they will pick up any colonial administrator, from their unelected mayors to their councillors to whosoever be the delegates that the Ambazonian forces come across. Secondly, also very, very important, going forward, every camp, Ambazonian military camp, shall also serve as a detention center for every colonial administrator or soldiers captured in the course of this war. And they are not going to be released. They are going to be kept indefinitely. And this is also to say that the Ndian Five that are left are going to be kept in the custody of Ambazonian forces indefinitely, as you heard in that statement. And it is also important, ladies and gentlemen, it is also important that you note, and this message goes out straight to La République du Cameroon military out there in their authorities. Any attempt to invade any Ambazonian camp that leads to the death of anybody in captivity, you, La République du Cameroon, shall be held responsible for those deaths or any death, just as you tried in Indian the other day, and it led to the death of one of the detainees. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the statement from your interim government. I will now move to my second monologue for the night, ladies and gentlemen. I will move to my second monologue for the night. But I'm going to take a brief break out. I'm going to take a brief break out and come to you with that monologue. Please do not touch your remote. I still have Barrister coming on, Bishop John Egiawan coming on, Barrister Tim Mbisa coming on. A powerful panel is coming on right after I bring you the monologue. Ladies and gentlemen, the monologue for the day. We're going to discuss all of these things together. So please stay put.
Start a new career as a Linux system administrator with an average salary of $80,000 to $120,000 a year. Dynamic Tech Academy has transformed many lives for the better through our 6-month Linux program. We are so excited to announce that we are adding DevOps course and Red Hat certification at no charge, which will make students more competitive. Over 80% of our students have no prior IT background, yet vast majority of alumni land jobs in 3 to 6 months after they start applying. Our ultimate goal is to reach 100% student employment. So we work with every student until he or she gets a job. Upon successful completion of the course, we will provide resume building, interview preparation, and job placement assistance. With the Linux course, you get more than 300 hours of in-depth training, and you get to learn from experienced instructors. By the end of the program, our students can be Red Hat certified if they choose. Our alumni work in companies, both government and private companies in the USA, Canada, and even Europe. Want to learn more about the program? You can contact us at info@dynamicdmv.com, or you can call us at 240-604-9505, or you can call us at 240-423-7865. And you can also visit us at www.dynamictechdmv.com. If you are interested in online classes, please register on our website. That's once again www.dynamictechdmv.com.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for staying put in there. Now I bring to you my second talking point for today. And this is also very, very critical. This has to do with the so-called Bamenda Ring Road loan signed between the colonial government in Yaoundé and the African Development Bank. Ladies and gentlemen, the African Development Bank was established in 1964, a year after the Organization of African Unity was founded. The bank was established as a multilateral development finance institution headquartered in Abidjan, Ivory Coast. At the time of its founding, The objective of the African Development Bank was to provide loans to African governments and private companies that invest in African countries. Before assessing how the bank has injected itself in the conflict between Ambazonia and La République du Cameroon, let us examine some facts here. 1. The bank has 81 members. 27 of them are non-African countries. The remaining 54 are African countries. In terms of voting power, there are 20 countries. Only 11 are African countries, while 9 are non-African countries. Among African countries, Nigeria has the most votes overall. Among the 11 African countries with voting powers, Ivory Coast is the only French-speaking country. Among the 9 non-African countries with voting powers within the AFDB, the United States has the most voting power. The top 10 shareholders of the bank are: number 1, Nigeria, 9.1%, USA, 6.5%, Egypt, 5.5%, Japan, 5.5%, South Africa, 4.9%, Algeria, 4.1%, Germany, 4%, Canada, 3.8%, Ivory Coast, 3.7%, France, 3.6%. It is turning that Britain does not rank as a top 10 shareholder, given its colonial ties to the continent. Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, La République du Cameroon does not rank in the top 10 of shareholders of the African Development Bank. It ranks, however, among the top 10 African countries most indebted to the bank. This shouldn't be any surprise, since the only times that La République du Cameroon ranks in the top 10 in anything is when the rankings are in the negative. For example, the top 10 most corrupt countries in the world. Go to any office in La République du Cameroon, including hospitals. You will need to pay a bribe to be served. Drive on their roads. Every 5 miles, there is a checkpoint where the military or the gendarme and security officials extort money from passengers and drivers. Top 10 countries whose presidents are in their 80s, that is La République du Cameroon. They are among top 10 countries avoided by foreign investors. Among top 10 countries where the clergy are an endangered species. They are among the top 10 countries most indebted countries. Top 10 countries where there is no press freedom. Journalists or reporters are killed for doing their business. They are among the top 10 countries where the military turned its guns but on innocent citizens, women and children. They are among the top 10 countries where the infrastructure is in a state of severe dilapidation, even in their capital city, Yaoundé. Top 10 countries they are where nepotism is practiced the most. The only country in the world, ladies and gentlemen, where nobody ever sees the president, who rules only by decrees, is Cameroon. The only country in the world where humanitarian relief donated by other countries such as China are in turn distributed to refugees with a claim that they are personal gifts from the head of state, is Cameroon. It is stunning and laughable. I can go on and go on and go on. Now, back to the African Development Bank, ladies and gentlemen. On Tuesday last week, May 25, 2021, the African Development Bank Regional Director for CEMAC Sub-Region met with La République du Cameroon's Prime Minister, Ndian Five. During the meeting, the bank sub-director made some inflammatory and provocative statements that I want to examine and offer a rebuttal here. Number one, in a quote, he said, "We pledge to provide financial and technical support to Cameroon to help implement reforms and development projects in the restive English-speaking regions," end of quote. First and foremost, by referring to Ambazonia as the, and I quote, restive English-speaking regions, end of quote, the bank's sub-director is nationalizing the conflict, which plays right into the hands of the sadistic Yaoundé regime, which claimed that Cameroon is one and indivisible. La République du Cameroun gained its independence on January 1, 1960, while the southern Cameroon's Ambazonia gained its independence on October 1st, 1961. The two countries were colonized by two different powers, the British for Ambazonia and the French for La République du Cameroun. And the two countries have internationally recognized boundaries well marked. Second, what are the reforms that the sub-bank director is referring to? Are these reforms different from the so-called special status, House of Chiefs, and regional councils, which have been vehemently rejected by Ambazonians? Is that what they mean by reforms? Third, how will the bank implement development projects in an area where a genocidal war is ongoing? In terrorist La République du Cameroun soldiers are engaged in massive destruction of property. How are they going to do that? Fourth, the bank is a lending institution and not an engineering firm, they should be told. So what technical support is the African Development Bank going to provide to La République du Cameroun? Quote number 2, and I quote, "We are going to push for decentralization. It's a big ambition to the country, and the African Development Bank will help the country to realize the decentralization," end of quote. We are going to push for decentralization? The African Development Bank? Who and how? Is the bank now party to the conflict between Ambazonia and La République du Cameroun? Or how does decentralization factor into the bank's agenda as a lending institution? Does the bank understand that within the context of the conflict between Ambazonia and La République du Cameroun, that decentralization is a very, very charged word with severe sociopolitical implications? Do they understand this? Is the bank now acting on behalf of La République du Cameroun? Within the context of the crisis or the conflict, decentralization means Ambazonia will remain dominated, marginalized by La République du Cameroun forever. Is that what the bank is clamoring for? Decentralization means Ambazonia will never have its own seaports and airports managed by Ambazonians. Ambazonia will never manage its own affairs. Is that what the African Development Bank is encouraging? Decentralization means La République du Cameroun will still be collecting custom duties, custom revenue from all custom posts along the Nigeria border and using the revenue, but in their country, as in the flagrant case at the Ekok Customs Post in Manu County. Is that the bank's version of decentralization? Decentralization means La République du Cameroon will still impose on elected mayors, colonial DOs, and colonial governors on Ambazonia. Is that decentralization that the bank is referring to? Is it the job of the bank to encourage authoritarianism and gross-tech violations of human rights in Ambazonia through its support of the Yaoundé regime? Is that what they mean to do? Now, quote number 3. We are going to sit down with the government and see what type of strategy African Development Bank can put in place so that all investments in those regions, referring to Ambazonia, are fast-tracked and impactful for the population. End of quote there. This is indeed stunning. How will the African Development Bank and La République du Cameroon fast-track investments in Ambazonia? Can the bank name any project that La République du Cameroon has carried out in Ambazonia for the last 20 years and counting? By saying that the African Development Bank will sit down with the Yaoundé regime, the bank is indirectly saying that it will inject itself into the conflict on the side of La République du Cameroon. And by so doing, the bank will be aiding in abating barbarism and genocide in Ambazonia. Quotation number 4. An agreement to construct a major road in the northwest, one of the troubled regions, will be signed, end of quote. The bank will be signing a loan agreement with the Yaoundé regime to construct the Bamenda Ring Road. What happened, ladies and gentlemen, to the other loan agreements that the African Development Bank and the Yaoundé regime have been signing since 2019 for the same project? On June 22, 2020, Paul Biya signed a decree empowering the Minister of Economy to sign a loan agreement on behalf of La République du Cameroon, a 106 billion franc CFA loan agreement. According to the decree, the loan was to be used to fund the construction of the Bamenda Ring Road, so-called. It is now 1 year. Has work started on the Ring Road? But what happened to the money? After the 106 billion franc CFA loan was granted in 2020, the Yaoundé regime stated that it needed another 49 billion franc CFA to complete the financing stage of the Bamenda Ring Road. What happened to it also? On October 28, 2019, the bank granted Cameroon 12 billion franc CFA for technical studies within the framework of the Bamenda Ring Road. What happened to that also? After the 12 billion francs loan, the Yaoundé regime again approached the bank for additional financing worth 155 billion francs CFA to carry out the construction work. What happened? Given the fact that La République du Cameroon is a highly indebted country, what credit rating does the bank, the African Development Bank, use to keep on approving loans for that country? Has the bank ever taken time to find out how La République du Cameroon shall pay back these loans? The African Development Bank and all other international lending institutions, such as the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank, and countries such as China and France, must understand that Ambazonia shall never, ever be held responsible for these loans that they are awarding to La République du Cameroon. Never. Ladies and gentlemen, The 365-kilometer Bamenda Ring Road was first announced in 1982 when Paul Biya was first sworn in as president. Ever since, nothing has been done. In 2010, when the dictator visited Bamenda, he stated that he will personally supervise the construction of the ring road. Since then, the regime has been borrowing money from several sources every year, most notably from this African Development Bank. And there is absolutely nothing there to show for it. We Ambazonians have made it absolutely clear that no form of construction is going to be allowed in Ambazonia while the war goes on. In addition, the Republic du Cameroon is a very primitive country that uses primitive methods in carrying out projects. Ambazonia wants to move away from primitive undertakings. Ambazonia wants to be better than that. Ambazonia must be better than that, ladies and gentlemen. It is important to note that the one person who has benefited from the ring road loans is one Ngala Gerard, the charlatan parliamentarian from Ndonga Mantung. We recall that as a militant of the CPDM party, Ngala Gerard quickly learned what his Betty bosses in Yaoundé do best. Ngala Gerard set up fake companies and placed bids for government contracts. Ngala Gerard's construction company, which exists only on paper, won the contract to construct the Ndu-Nkambe Road and portions of the ring road through to Ndonga and Mantung. Of course, there is nothing there to show. And to shield himself from being held responsible, Ngala Gerard lavishly sponsors CPDM events in Ndonga Mantung. And he has been very active in coming up with schemes to thwart Ghost Town Mondays in Ndonga Mantung too. We are watching him, and he shall not escape on the day of reckoning. The recently signed loan between the African Development Bank and Cameroon for the ring road is another fraud. It is money meant to finance this war, and they know it. Even if it is not, we want to assure the African Development Bank that not a stone shall be erected anywhere in Ambazonia while this war rages on in the name of construction. We will raise every piece of equipment deployed at any construction site, and we warn that any human being passing for a worker on any such construction site shall have himself or herself to regret. The Bamenda Ring Road, Victoria Seaport, Power Camp, the Cameroon Bank, Tico International Airport, National Produce Marketing Board, and many more others. These are some of the projects for which La République du Cameroon will pay reparations for after this war is all over. No tampering. Again, no tampering with evidence here. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Again, that was my monologue. Now I bring in my guest for tonight. I want to start with Barrister John. It's a pleasure having you back here, sir. I hope you can hear me out there.
Thank you, Chris. I can hear you 5 on 5. Thank you for inviting me.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Bishop John Egiawan, it's good to have you back, sir.
Thank you very much, Secretary Chris. It's my pleasure. And greetings to my fellow Ambazonians and the ARFs.
Martin Abungwa, thank you for joining the panel, sir. Apparently, your audio is not on, Dr. Martin. You will have to log out and log back in. All right, just do that and I'll bring you back on. Barrister Tim Mbisa, good to have you back, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me. Thank everybody. I say hello to everybody, panelists and followers.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you for being part of this broadcast today. Barrister Mbisa, please do me a favor, bend down your camera slightly so that we can have a full image of you. Yes, that is good. That is good. That is good. Yes, thank you. So, gentlemen, Barrister John, let me start with you. You listened to the press statement that I presented earlier coming from the President of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia. He has essentially instructed the Ambazonian fighters everywhere on ground zero. The end has come. The day that you caught La République du Cameroon officials in their military and let them go, that era is over. It is gone. Going forward, you will catch them and detain them indefinitely. Tell me what you think about that decision, sir.
It's a very good decision. It's in conformity with the Geneva Convention on the protection of the prisoners of war. We will keep our prisoners of war in our custody, and they will be protected until the end of the war. That is what the Geneva Convention is all about, the protection of prisoners of war. I want to thank the President of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia for issuing this press statement, which is so important and goes far to protect anybody who will be arrested in our territory, and also authorize the restoration forces to arrest all trespassers, all La République du Cameroon administrators that are pretending or are doing business in our territory. Whether they are passing, they are doing business, they are living in our territory, they will be arrested and treated as prisoners of war, and will keep them until the end of this war. That is a very good decision coming from our government in exile.
All right, thank you, Barrister John. I am also joined here, ladies and gentlemen, by the county chairperson for Ndian. Comrade, yes, tilt your camera slightly so we can have more of you in the camera. Comrade Edwin, please. Perfect. Yes, awesome. A little bit more. All right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so you have with me here the chairman for Ndian County, Comrade Edwin. Thank you for joining me, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. 5 on 5.
Wonderful. Please tilt your camera again. The title is almost covering your face there. Perfect. Centralize it now.
Okay.
All right, that is, we can manage that. Just centralize the image. Okay. Yeah? But it's on this side, do the same place. All right. Thank you. Mr. Chairman, please tell us what happened in Ndian. We are talking about the arrest of the 6 La République du Cameroon officials over there last week. Now, we have seen headlines, newspaper headlines out there from La République du Cameroon shouting, mercenaries invaded Ndian. And I have stated that those headlines are coming from no other person but Ndian Ngute, because Ndian Ngute is trying to escape from any blame within his circles in Yaoundé that, even you too, even in your council too, Ambazonian fighters are there. How did that happen? So in order to avoid that blame, Ndian Ngute buys newspapers, write a story, give them one headline, mercenaries. Mercenaries came over from Nigeria, I guess, to invade Ndian. Were they mercenaries, Mr. Chairman? Were they mercenaries that invaded your county and took and picked up 6 La République du Cameroon delegates?
Well, Secretary Chris, thanks for having me on the People's Television. Thank you so much. And I want to say a special thank you to the panelists. It is amazing, you know, what this government can do, how far they can go, just trying to cook up things that are not there. For me, fine, whatever they can say. But let us just look at the facts. What has been playing on the media is amazing. First, we're having from one audio to another, one session to another. And finally, we've arrived at, oh, they are mercenaries. I still do not understand how we got to this place. But this is the thing, Mr. Secretary. We started that, okay, 10 Kobo had these guys. Phone calls were made. Money some monies were declared, 25 million, 36, whatever, something million. Then it went to 1 billion. Wow. And finally, we had an audio that nothing was being demanded because these guys live in the forest. How could they be making these demands? The next move was we had individuals. We had a General Stone that came out. Oh, I have these guys. I mean, what a confusion. We have another guy came up and said, oh, you know, we are in keeping of these guys. They keep manipulating this news and see how it goes out there. You see, this is something that I want us to understand. The Prime Minister knows his own sons in his own village are part of these guys. They say that Tenkobo is in Bekora. Of course, Bekora, Bongongo one. These are people of the same place. So if he is saying that, oh, Tenkobo, then now, oh, Tenkobo is in Bekora, then we're asking Bekora, Bongongo one, Bongongo two, Ekondo Titi. All of these places are in the same place. How could we mix up this information? Now, these are things that we should pay attention to. We say that, okay, money was demanded, and the guy said, we've not made any demands. I will say some things here that people should pay attention to, and with these bits and pieces together, and understand that the government should be held, the government in Yaoundé should be held responsible for all these things that are happening, especially to the families of these delegates that were arrested. They should be held responsible. Now, money was demanded from these people. How did that come about? If the guys did not even place a demand, it simply means that some individuals, I don't know whether it's the governor or the SDO, the divisional officer, gendarmerie, who, whatever, these people came up with this idea of the money. We have heard even from their own fighters that this war has become a business to some individuals. Now, if this money was brought into the limelight, who was making these assertions that there was money that was needed? It means that individuals within were making all of these things up so that money could transpire and they would see how they can stick it on the boys. But when the boys came up with an audio that we did not demand money, when the restoration fighters said that we did not demand money, and they find a different way to come up to present it to the people that, oh, these were mercenaries. And of course, now, Secretary Chris, this is what happened. There were numbers, phone numbers that the restoration fighters were using. And during the course of this arrest, the fighters realized that some individuals are calling them on the phone, on their phone number. When they ditched these numbers, few hours later, these numbers became active. And there are impersonators behind these phone numbers claiming to be Tenkobo. So how many 10 kobos do we have? And these individuals are now demanding money from people, whether it's their family members or those who are ready to support. We have proof of this. Every mobile money number that is being issued has a name attached to it. Who were these individuals who were now working with these numbers that the restoration forces have ditched? If the government of Yaoundé is not behind all of this scheme, how comes numbers that the restoration forces have ditched that, you know what, individuals are calling us on these numbers, we don't want that. Few hours later, these numbers are active. They're impersonating our restoration forces, ready to collect monies. Now, we don't know if anybody sent the money thinking that they were Field Marshal 10 Kobo. We don't know. But that's a fact. We have these mobile money numbers. We have audios that these individuals were impersonating a restoration fighter. So what is happening here? And all of a sudden, we know now that these were mercenaries, from our neighboring Nigeria who came into Ndian. How does that really tie up? Tell me how. How? It's amazing. I can't hear you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let's go back to, mercenaries from Nigeria just for Ndian Ngute to save face. But let's go back to a revelation you just mentioned here, that Ndian Ngute's family members are in the Ambazonian restoration forces.
He is an Ambazonian. The boys and the young men and young women who are there in the bushes fighting, they're our family members. If he is an Ambazonian, his family members are part of this. So he cannot say that he's not part of this. All of us are part of this.
Right.
Our family members, our brothers and our sisters are in the bushes fighting for what they know that it's their right to fight for their independence and the freedom.
Now, I understand that these AROFs, led by Field Marshal 10 Kobo, they actually hail from the village of Ndian Ngute. Correct?
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. The news said they are based in Bekora Barombi. And listen, this is something that I think the people should know. I think yesterday, village of Bekora Barombi was stormed, and the innocent citizens of this village were being pulled out and beaten. Some of them were arrested, that they should produce a Field Marshal 10 Kobo. So what does that tell you? That tells you that they believe that this young man is from this locality. And why should the people be going after? Why should they be going after innocent citizens? Why? If they have a security officers or military that is supposed to do their job, why should they go after innocent citizens? The extent to which this government,
do you think one of the reasons they want to do you think one of the reasons for which they want to convince the public to believe these were mercenaries crossing the waters from Nigeria is because our guy, 10 Kobo, is using the word Kobo for his name, being a Nigerian appellation for their currency?
I don't know. I mean, Kobo could be anything. Kobo could mean anything. It could mean a word in the dialect. It could mean anything. For anybody to think that, because they're using Kobo, it just doesn't make sense. To Chris, this is a scheme, and they're just trying to scam the people out there, to distract the people. If they believe that these guys are from Nigeria, so why are they coming after the local population? Why are they going after the people of Bekora Barombi beating them up, pulling them out of their homes, destroying properties, stealing from them. They are looting, taking up TVs and electronics, taking money. We have audio messages of those who have escaped. They are living, they've left us messages. This is what is happening in the village right now. You know, so if they believe that these were mercenaries who came from Nigeria, why attack the local population? Why go after the innocent people of Bekora Barombi, the innocent people of Lipinja Barombi, the people of Bongongo? Why go after them? Why?
Oh, so they are now going after the local population.
Yes.
So they have launched attacks on the local population?
They've launched attack on the local population. We have audio messages of those who have escaped. They've sent us audios. This is what is happening. They are beating people like hell. The soldiers, about 300 of them, falling on the innocent villagers, and they're beating them up to produce 10 kobo. I mean, if the state that has all the resources cannot produce 10 kobo, how is a farmer to produce 10 kobo who is a mystery? How?
Now, Mr. Chairman, I am also aware that it hasn't been long since the Prime Minister's brother was killed in this war also, correct?
I'm not so sure about that.
Okay.
I heard something like that, but I do not have the full picture of it, and I don't know if his direct brother. Of course, I can't say. Sometimes this government is so careless. If they're not careless, they will not send. If it's not intentional, they will not send in 6 delegates into a war zone without the right protection. So even his brother can be a victim, you know, of what their carelessness. So if it's said that his brother, probably it is. Yes, probably it is.
Okay. Now let's talk a little bit about your county, Mr. Chairman. Until very recently, Ndian has been a concern to almost every Ambazonian, but with what is going on there, there is, I mean, you know how strategically important Ndian is to Ambazonia. And it has been quite dormant. I know you have been trying your best and doing all that you can to resurrect some fire in that place. There is quite a lot of excitement now out there for what is going on in Ndian. What are the struggles that you guys encounter out there as a county?
Thank you, Secretary. First of all, I want to remind the people of Ambazonia that the people of Ndian are fighters. They are committed to this struggle. They understand probably more than some people in Ambazonia, because they've gone through a lot. I used to say that we own everything, but we have practically nothing. No schools, no roads, hospitals, whatever you want to think of. We don't have it. So the people of Ndian understands how much they have sacrificed, how much has been taken, denied them. So at the beginning of this revolution, the boys came out, they fought. They fought. They stopped Pamol, Lobe, stopped Pamol Bulu, stopped Bamoso. Whatever was going on in Bamoso, both the rubber, the palms, everything was stopped. And it took a lot of courage. It took a lot of determination for the boys to do this. So we cannot dismiss that. We cannot forget what they did. They fought, and they've kept that up till now. Now the problem we have in Ndian is that the government of Yaoundé made sure that communication is cut off in Ndian. So whatever is happening in Ndian is not known in the rest of the country. And it's not even known outside, especially outside. So getting information from the ground, I believe that some people have understood this perfectly, during these few days that we've been trying to understand where these delegates are, to get information, it's a challenge. So this government manipulates the network, Indian, to make sure that communication is not there. It's not there, and that has been going on for years. It's almost 5 years now. The people of Ndian are disconnected. It's intentional. It is intentional. The fighters are there. These young men and young women, they were there. There was the cohesion in the fight. There was the determination. There was the conviction. But again, as the CPDM does things, they always bring in money, make sure that they corrupt the system. You know, I believe that some individuals were bought over, blacklegs increased, and they began targeting these guys. And even the leadership that they looked up to was compromised. The fight was not going in the direction that they thought it was. I personally spoke to some of them who gave up, and they told me that, look, I don't want to die doing the thing that I did not sign up to do. I don't want to be going after my people. I don't want to be kidnapping people and collecting ransom from them. This is what La République did to our people. And the fight slowed down. Now a new breed of fighters, the never again fighters, they've risen from the dust where they've been hidden for so long. And they said that we will continue this fight no matter what. And we're going to do it the right way. We must restore the dignity of our civil society. And they began to tell the people that we're your sons and your daughters. We want you to know that we are here for you. We cannot be fighting this fight and you're receiving the pain. We've sacrificed our lives so that you guys can be free. We've lost our brothers not to come against our mothers. So these gentlemen, young men, brave, they are doing just that. And I can assure you that a lot of our people are also saying out there that these fighters are doing a good job. Our restoration fighters are doing the right thing. They understand
what are the needs out there, comrade? What are the needs out there in the community, in the county?
The need, our people need to be able to function as a community. For example, right now, we have La République is sponsoring individuals like the Namberes and those who have gone to the DDR who wants to come back and make sure that the people, that which was sustaining them economically, being destroyed. So right now, our people, there is a need for our people to have that peaceful life that they've always wanted. They don't want to be disturbed or interfered in any way, but they're being targeted every now and then. We got report recently that their mills were destroyed. Those who have mills were destroyed. Now, these are their economic sources.
Who destroyed the mills? Of course, La République would want everybody to believe these were the Ambazonia restoration forces, but of course, the popular story out there is that French Cameroon soldiers actually destroyed the mills to force the farmers to take their produce to palm oil, correct?
Yes, I mean we've got reports that the guys from the DDR, they have joined forces with another group of guys who were called the Chifitos guys or so. They call themselves an anti-gang. I don't understand what gangs they were against. Now they're working in partnership with the soldiers of La République du Cameroon, the colonial forces. Now they are targeting these local guys, know where the mills are. They are going after the mills, destroying these mills, just to bring the people on their knees to be dependent on the government that is broke. Now they are forcing the people to take their palms to palm oil. Okay, how are they going to run palm oil in the first place? How? Because palm oil, our boys are making sure that palm oil does not run. So this is a systematic ploy put in place just to make sure our people are dependent on the government and the local CPDM hoodlums who are around. So this is the pain of our people. These are some of the things they're going through.
All right. Thank you, comrade. Please stay put in there. Let me bring back the panel here. And let me start with Barrister. Let me start with Bishop John. Bishop John, you are the ANSC Director General, and you have been monitoring these events. In Ndian, we've been speaking to Field Marshal Tenkobo, following up events over there throughout last week and, of course, this week. Give us your take. When you read in a lot of political Cameroon newspapers and they say mercenaries invaded Ndian and abducted their delegates, what do you think they are trying to hide?
Thank you very much, Secretary Chris. Thank you, Chairman Edwin Kamara. Thank Barrister John Saw. And you say Barrister Timothy is coming, and the other barrister on the line. Secretary Chris, I'm not the one in charge of ANSC, as you said.
My apologies for that. I should know better.
Yeah. I'm just the Secretary of State for one of the Secretary of State for Defense. Secretary Chris, look, we know La République from time memorial. La République is being defeated. They are being crushed by an inferior military, as they call, by boys, former students, bikers, teachers, Bayam Selam, farmers, fathers, children, turn restoration fighters, turn freedom fighters. And they are beating La République hands on, heads on. The score is 9-1. Let's just give them one. These boys, our Ambazonia Restoration Forces, the ARFs, have been able to evolve within a very short time, Secretary Chris, from regular military, regular freedom fighters, from rioters, to a sophisticated military, inventing one of the most sophisticated improvised explosive device that we have in the world today. The Mayi, the Lefanse, the Fontaine Masongani, and all that you can call, they have different names for them. That can destroy a piece of steel like it is paper. And so La République cannot sit there and accept defeat by this type of people. You see, I call General Tenkobo, since he emerged as the king, as a real guerrilla fighter. Look, this guy is the king of the forest. This guy knows what guerrilla fighting is. He is a true guerrilla. Among all our other ARF that we have there, you can see that the guy is distinct. He's very strategic, very precise, very fast, swift. How can a sophisticated army with a budget of how many billion francs, how many $1 million, being defeated by an army that is made of volunteers with no budget? That's why they will say they will make excuse that it is mercenaries from Nigeria that have come to attack them. Where are the mercenaries? If it's mercenaries from Nigeria that has come to attack them, why are they attacking the villagers to produce 10 kobo? If 10 kobo is from Nigeria, why they don't go to Nigeria and ask for 10 kobo there? Why they don't go to Nigeria and ask for those mercenaries as they have partnership with Nigeria? Say the Chris, somebody has been defeated. They don't want to concede to defeat. And that's why they are making up those stories. That is mercenaries. It's not mercenaries. These are our boys. These are the new breed, like the chairman have said. People with pure blood for Ambazonia, they don't want to dirty their hands. They want to teach the enemy a lesson. They don't want to be kidnapping people like the former person who was in Ndian was doing, harassing people, taking people's cocoa money, seizing people's cocoa and whatever, farm produce, and killing people anyhow. But this General Tenko is for the revolution, for the struggle, and his enemy is the Ambazonia enemy, not the Ambazonia people. And now the Republic is making up stories that mercenaries came and attacked them. Okay, let them keep making up stories. Let's see. You see, for the past 2 months, the heat has been turned on. This inferior army, as they so-call us, the inferior army is teaching them a lesson. Let me tell you, Secretary Chris, there is a myth going on now. I want to let you people. Any La Republic soldier who points his weapon at any of our generals or our field marshal, they are going to die on the battlefield. There's something that is going on. I want you to take note of this. Any La Republic soldier who points his weapon on our field marshal or our general, they will die. That's what is happening.
Thank you. Let me get to Barrister John. Barrister John, let me get your take on these fabrications by La République du Cameroun that some mercenaries across from the other side of Ndian, from Nigeria, of course, invaded Ndian. Again, what are they trying to cover? I know you should have a better insight for this. What is Dion Ngute trying to cover by setting up stories like this for the newspapers?
Secretary Chris, thank you very much. I want to thank Bishop John for the proper analysis of what is going on. Listen, La République du Cameroon has been defeated. And more so, the Prime Minister's village has defeated the Prime Minister. What do you expect them to say? Than to fabricate lies that mercenaries have come from Nigeria? Look, I have been to Mundimba, right to Ekasa. I have been to Bamso. I have been to the Bikora they are talking about is near Lobe. That is Diongote village. Before you get to Lobe, you pass through Bikora. Let me tell you, Chris, these our fighters have been well trained by General Ken Kobo. They are some of the best gorillas you can find in Africa. Look, true. Ndian is up, and Ndian, I'd like to congratulate Chairman Kamara for a job well done, and also General Tenkobu, and he's doing it perfectly. Let me tell you, look, Ndian is the bread basket of Ambazonia, and we will make sure that Ndian has all what it takes to protect Ndian. Look, John Gote can sit in Yaoundé and fabricate all the lies. He is trying to buy his head in Yaoundé. If John Gote was that smart, he should have resigned long ago. Because his people have been exploited for 60 years. All the petroleum from the Gulf of Guinea down to Bakassi, that is on Ndian. And John Gote is from Ndian. And he is there sitting there, eating alone, and forgetting that his people, no roads, no hospital, nothing. There's look, to go to Ndian, you have to take something they call Rio. To go to Mondemba, you must go through the river. There is no road going to Mondemba. There is no road in Bekura, which is John Gote's village, where he has built a house. And he is now trying to buy his head and accusing his own brothers that they have brought in mercenaries from Nigeria. First of all, they have an alliance with Nigeria. How do we get mercenaries from Nigeria when Nigeria is helping them to fight this war? Look, John Gote can say whatever he wants to say, Chris. It's neither here nor there.
All right.
Our restoration forces the AFRs have the ARF have taken over Ndian, and it will stay like that. And listen, like I said before, I thank the President of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia for putting out that communique, which is in conformity with the Geneva Convention.
All right, thank you. Let me get to Dr. Amongwa. I want to believe your sound system is good now. Dr. Amongwa, can you hear me, sir?
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Hello, Dr. Amongwa. Yes, something is wrong with your audio.
What
you needed to do was to just hit your back button, log out, use the same credentials, log back in, and I guess you should be fine. We can hear you. All right, let me get to Barrister Mbisa. Barrister Mbisa, let me get your take, sir. Let me get your take. Please, your camera is not looking good. All right, good. Yes, bend it down. Thank you. You went up a little bit high. All right, perfect. Barrister Mbisa, give us your take on this cacophony, buffoonery going on in Yaoundé with La République trying at all costs to get the world to believe that what happened in Ndian happened through some mercenaries from Nigeria. Whereas their colonial divisional officer is there telling people that the boys actually demanded ransom and they are Indians, that he actually spoke to them. Barrister Mbisa.
Thank you, sir. I think we are missing a lot of points. How do we get the story of these 4 men being arrested? The information came to us through the senior divisional officer of Ndian. The senior divisional officer of Ndian is the personal representative of the President of the Republic. And so he told us in that audio, in that video, because he did it live, that he knew the guys. He called them by their names and said that they were divided into 2 different camps. That's the official version that was out there from the mouth of the prefect, who represents the president, who is even above Dion Gute. He said they were asking for ransom. Those are his words. It turned out that they didn't ask for any ransom. So far, so good. But even if they were asking for a ransom, 28 million, 15 million, that's what is above them to pay to rescue their people. Certainly not. If the prefect can go around with armored cars, which cost thousands of millions, and they're not prepared to spend 10 million to rescue the life of one of theirs, what type of government is that for? Fast forward. What happened to these guys? You see, the unspoken is most important. The Republic says that they died. They did not even say that the Amba boys or Amba soldiers killed the guy. They say he died. That's all. And that takes me to so the laws of war are so clear. They capture one of yours, you don't go to rescue them physically, because they will die in crossfire. You negotiate for their release at the appropriate time. He did not do this. They sought to go and rescue them the individual by force and killed him. Otherwise, why did they not arrest the so-called guy who killed him? They arrested nobody, they brought the cops and said this man is dead. Again, still from the on media on the outside, what did he do with the cops? The family knew that their brother or their husband was dead. They requested that she be transported to Kumba mortuary. See from them, they said, no, we're not going to Kumba because the road is too dangerous. Hamas to beat us on the road. We prefer to go by sea to Douala. Those are the official versions of the story from the mouthpiece of the spokespeople of the government. Not the social media, not the stupid president has ever been there. That is, they did not say that they were mercenaries. The senior prefect who represents the government, who is the chief security officer, who is everybody from Yaoundé, Indian, never said that they were mercenaries. So even now speaking. So the mercenary story is bullshit. Leave that out. That is not our problem. Again, the statement from the interim government is sufficiently technical, is understandable, is legally correct. There are war prisoners, or prisoners of war, whoever is captured. If our boys wanted to kill them, they will kill them immediately. What do you need to tell them? I'm going to kill one and leave the rest. Again, the government has even said that the guy who died was killed by the Amber Boys. They say, yeah, they told us officially they were arrested or they were adopted, whatever word they used. Then they told us they are dead. They didn't even say how they died. Because they will not tell you that they went to rescue them or to rescue the guy and kill him. And before I leave, Chris, let me just add something back that we forgot. I saw our women presented something very, very important. I just wanted to remind them that their letter to the Biden government, to the security is very, very important. But if they are still here, it will be more useful, it will be more important if they can make that message reach the vice president, who is a woman. She can talk to Biden every day, every night, every minute. So the voice of the woman passing through another woman nearest to the president is going to go faster and gain more impact. That's just advice I wanted to give.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. Let us quickly get through over this subject. But before we get there, before we get over it, let me get back to the president's statement about going forward, the policy of keeping every La République du Cameroon prisoner or delegate or mayor, governor, DO. Many people have asked the questions. Do we have the capability to keep them until when when there is a negotiated settlement for this thing? Please don't take much time here. 50 seconds. I start with Comrade Kamara. You are the one at stake now. What do you think about that? Can Ndian keep those? Do they have the capabilities to keep those 5 people till this war is formally negotiated and settled?
Well, you've just read the message that came from the president's desk, which is our policy. It's not Indian's policy. It's an Ambazonian policy. Every camp where our ARF, it's a potential detention center. So we will keep them. They are our prisoners. We will keep them. But this is what I want to say out there. There are families who are calling. They're calling us all over the world. And I just want to let them know that it is about time to hold the government in Yaoundé accountable. Because whatever happened to their people, they should hold this government accountable. As the barrister said, information we got initially came from them. The narrative came from them. So they put all of these delegates in harm's way, and they initiated the ransom, the idea of the ransom, which was all made up, and now they're saying that it is mercenaries from Nigeria. They should be able to tell the families where their fathers, husbands, uncles are. So it's about time they hold them accountable for every prisoner, whether these ones or the ones that we will eventually get them, because they are stubborn. They think that they control our land. We will get them and we will keep them. Our policy is clear, and the barristers have said that it is according to the Geneva Convention. So we will keep them.
All right.
Thank you.
Comrades, hold on there. I would like everybody to take a look at this image because this is important and relates to the decision that the president has taken to get our camps become permanent detention centers for some of these arrests that we carry out. Take a look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, what you are seeing there is a horrible image. I have to cover that image because it is not good for the eyes. But that was Tom Sawyer. And the person you see sitting on top of him is a French Cameroon army. And what is he doing? He is severing, beheading, literally beheading the head of Tom Sawyer. Of course, we also remember, ladies and gentlemen, the beheading in Bafut where they caught one of ours, cut his head, pinned it on the stick, and hung by the side of the road. We saw that it's in Indiana, I believe it was, Comrade Camara, that a little baby was seized by French Cameroon soldiers, thrown into boiling oil, used in frying pop-off, and the child died. We can go on and on and on and mention some of these horrible, horrible cases where La République du Cameroun treat our people. When we say we will keep these people indefinitely, we haven't done so in the past, but we think we have to do so because I think it is time we begin to give La République du Cameroun the kind of treatment that we see them meting upon our people. I'm not talking about beheading people. We will never do that. We are not beasts here, but we're talking about holding them as they are holding our people in their prison dungeons in Yaoundé, Douala, Boya, Bafoussam, Bamenda. We keep on holding them. So let me come to, I don't know whether Dr. Mungwa, can you hear me now? I don't know whether I can hear you now. I just wish I can. No, I still cannot hear you. I still cannot hear you. Something is wrong with your microphone. Your image looks good, but your microphone is a problem. Bishop John, please. We have discussed this in cabinet, and I think the consensus is that we cannot be catching these people and letting them go. This is war. We have to treat them the way they treat our own. Imprison them.
Yes. Secretary Chris, you are very correct. You know, like I always tell people that we are progressing in this war. We are learning as we go. I want to tell you something that has happened. You know, when the ARF was formed and we had the Ambazonia Restoration Forces, we came up with our ground rules. And if you look in our ground rules, these ground rules were written by former soldiers, especially of the United States Army. We know what it is. And they were all in alliance with human rights expectations. And this is what we have been educating our ARFs to follow. And this has been going on. Let me tell you, the reason we decided that we have to start keeping these enemies, because, you know, in the past, when the Ambazonia Restoration Forces, they go and do something, other elements who claim to take glory, they go and claim it, and now you see other international bodies, they are looking as if Ambazonia is being controlled by 2, 3 or different forces, whereas it is the ARF that have been actually Can you hear me now?
Yes, Dr. Mungwa, I guess that is you. I can hear you.
Okay, good. Okay.
Thank you. Bishop John, you are freezing up. Go on, please. All right, Bishop John, I think your audio is having a problem there. Dr. Mungwa, it's great you join us. Please give us your thoughts briefly on the issues we have on the table here.
I know a lot has been spoken since we started this program. Once again, thanks for inviting me to this discussion. I mean, when you start talking about La République has had a tradition of always distorting facts, as far as we are concerned. They started so many years ago when there was a demonstration in Yaoundé, and they called it Biafra, that they're Nigerians. So it wouldn't be surprising now if they're unable to handle the situation, to turn and just say, well, these are probably Nigerians who are doing all this. That's always been their way of reasoning. They never accept responsibility. They never accept the fact that they are totally incapable to run La Republic, let alone Amazonian included. So this is a non-starter. We know them. If you go by this government, then you are doing that at your own risk.
All right. Gentlemen, I also like you to stay put, take a look at these images that I bring to you here. Take a look at these images here. This is what is going on ground zero. Right there you have one, I understand this truck here was burnt in, I think this was in Tico or somewhere, Tico, Motengene, something like that. That is what Ambazonia fighters are beginning to do: confiscate, arrest, and destroy trespassers from La Republique du Cameroon. We also have images like this, and before I bring this on, I want to warn anybody who is watching, please, these are very gruesome images. Viewers' discretion is advised. Again, viewer discretion here is advised. These images are very, very gruesome, not good for the eyes. But this is the might, ladies and gentlemen, that Ambazonian forces are beginning to manifest on the ground. On the ground. I won't show that, I won't present that more than that. Gentlemen, the tables are turning. The tables are turning on the ground. If I may ask each of you, 50 seconds before we move to the African Development Bank issue here, what do you think? What do you think is going on in the minds of technocrats in La Republique du Cameroon when they are saying all this? And again, let me add that something happened in Le BLM this morning around midday. If the information is what I have been told, it would be the worst of a catastrophe that has happened to La Republique du Cameroon soldiers. I am waiting for some videos coming from there. I also learned that at around exactly 4:19 p.m. ground zero time, helicopters landed in Menji to carry their corpse and their injured. So this is a trend. This is a trend now on ground zero. What do you gentlemen think is going on in the minds of French Cameroon technocrats and their military advisors? Anybody? Barrister John, go on.
It's like people are mourning. These people thought that they could walk over us, kill 18,000 of our people, both babies, mothers, old people, children, and women. And we suffered that because we were not ready for the war. Now, our restoration forces have developed one of the most sophisticated weapons in guerrilla warfare. But Bishop John just made mention of it. And the tides have turned, Chris, and Yaoundé is confused. I want us to look at what one of us who comes from Malende, even though it's an origin of Bassa extraction, but was born and bred in Malende. His name is Reverend Masok Emmanuel. That used to be my pastor in Douala.
Yes,
He has said that.
actually, yes, I read that piece. I thought,
Yes.
but I couldn't tell how accurate it was. That coming from the church.
No. That was a sermon preached by Reverend Nasok. He said that I'm not a prophet, but I'm telling you that you people in Yaoundé will start running like it happened in Bamenda. They will be running to Bamenda. It was Bamenda running to Yaoundé. Now, in one of these days, they will run to Bamenda. That gives you the climate of what is happening in Yaoundé. Something is going to happen because these junta, I call them junta, those that are ruling in Yaoundé, have not gotten the message that they have to end this war. They have not gotten the message that they have to come to the negotiating table. And something is going to happen. I don't know what. No, nobody knows except Emmanuel Masok. It's going to happen. It tells you about the climate of the thinking of what is happening inside Yaoundé population. For the people who are managing Yaoundé, there is a big disagreement among the ruling junta. Some say, let's go to the negotiating table. Some say, let's wait. Some say, no, we cannot go from a position of weakness. We must try to turn the tables and see how we can go from a position of strength. And I tell you, they are suffering the effects. And everybody's crying. Families are crying. Look, just listen to what the Beti people, the ordinary Beti people are saying. I saw a video where a Beti man was crying that they had chopped money that has come from
COVID.
For COVID-19. He was crying, literally crying. A Beti man in the village. Look, Chris, what is going through the minds of these fellows in Yaoundé beats anybody's imagination. Whether they want to because where would they run to? They are hemmed because America is coming after them. The population is watching them. Brigade Anti-Sardina in Europe, especially in France, cannot allow them come to Europe. They are willing to commit collective suicide. That is the only way I can see it. Because how do they think? How do they think?
All right.
With all these casualties that we see every day for the last 2 months, look at the way our boys, our restoration forces are dealing with them. And
can I say something? Chris.
It's not yet. We're not yet there.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Barrister John.
Yes.
Thank you, Barrister John. Quickly, Barrister Mbisa, quickly. Then Dr. Mongwa, I would like to hear your take on this.
Yeah, thank you, sir. I think when we are here like this, we should be using this forum for something that will help us. Whatever Pobia thinks or his ministers think is irrelevant for us. They can be dreaming, daydreaming or night dreaming. That's not important. What we should be doing here, and I recommend we do only that, is how it would help us. This topic is, can we detain these people? Do you have the ability? Yes. But if you don't want to be detained, if you are caught by our soldiers, you'll be detained. But make sure that you understand that we are not going to create a VIP prison for you in the detention. If you had the opportunity to ask late Christian Tume, he slept with mosquitoes. Eat what our boys eat. You will suffer the pains. That is to be detained. But if you don't want to go through that, just don't go to where they are. Behave like the civil servant sent to rebellion. Don't go there. And you save your life. You escape from the detention. We don't have time to be detaining people. We don't have place to give you comfort. But you can avoid those places, our detention centers, by not going there, by refusing to Ndian, by refusing to go to wherever our boys will capture you. That's what we should be sending to them. When they capture the soldier, the support brothers, sisters, cousins, fine. They will feel the pain then. Then the second thing I wanted to make, I said this a little bit earlier. See, those graphic pictures you showed us here a few minutes ago. We've seen these things forever. We've seen them many times before. If those graphic pictures, if they were able to get to Kamala Harris, the Vice President of the United States, just 3 or 4 of them, I can guarantee you within 48 hours they will act. So let our sisters who have initiated this move through the presidency, through the council, the United Nations Security Council, send some of these images there. They will push the fight ahead. We see them here a million times. I've seen them more than 10 times over. It's not going to alter anything. So let our sisters who have been this do everything to get to Kamala Harris, through her chief of staff. She has a whole staff. Then send 2-3 of those pictures. She will call the fight, and then we will push the fight 3 buttons ahead.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Mongwe, before I come to you, I'd like you guys to take a pause, watch this. This is what we are talking about. Cameroon doesn't have an army that can fight this war. Take a look at this footage, please.
Tu arrives à voir. On dit comment la calme. Attention.
When you see the head of a gun drops down and those guys takes on their heels, and you think this, I mean, have you heard Field Marshal in the BLM no PT say, stop sending us Boy Scouts, send us your own generals so we can really fight this war. This is what they are talking about. These guys, at the drop of the head, the head of the gun, they take off. And these people don't want to fight Ambazonia. Where Dr. Mongwe, please.
Okay, thank you, Chris. Thanks for every person on this panel. I'm going to look at this, and you asked the question, how is the administration in Yaoundé looking at this war, what is happening to them? Let me just bring yourself back. In fact, this image that you just gave me is actually a summary of what I was going to say. The Council of Foreign Relations made a comment about Biya and the Biya regime. They said that the Biya regime is ossified. Are you guys hearing me?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
It's ossified. What does that mean? I mean, to put in layman's terms, it means that it's like clay. You know what that means? Imagine that you build a structure that's all made out of clay. I mean, despite all the wonderful properties of clay as a building material, you don't want to use clay to build a car or to build something that is fragile, something that you expect it to be flexible. What does that mean? It means that the Biya regime is structured in such a way that every tiny movement within it will just destroy it altogether. Because over the years, it's been all sort of relationships and also the bribery and corruption, and they're all entangled into one. And this goes down to the military hierarchy. So when you start asking yourself, what is the military thinking about? They are just sitting there and watching. Unlike Ambazonia, our soldiers, and thanks to Comrade Camara and Comrade Egewan, you have put into place a structured army that is flexible, that uses agile concepts so that they can take communication, goes from the bottom to the top, mistakes are corrected, and everybody falls in line. That's why we are effective. We are not effective just because it happens just by error. It's by design. And if you see the training that they went through the last month, where they had the martial training, it actually put them in focus with modern tactical training for the military, which means it's agile, which means it's adaptive. It means that you make changes as you see circumstances change in front of you. La République doesn't have that luxury. They're totally incapable of thinking in that route because everything is ossified. From top to bottom is ossified. So orders come from the top. You don't even examine to see whether it's right or wrong. You just accept it and execute. If you execute it wrongly, then change it. It's the same rules that you find tomorrow. We've seen it in every aspect of La Republique life. How come the Douala Yaoundé road has never been finished? Betwa Gandere has not. It's all the same thing. They never sit down to take what they call a post-mortem to see how changes it. I am not surprised. They will all sit and the boat will sing with them on it. So it is not surprising to me. That has been the tradition not only in La Republique, but all French countries. They are ossified because they take power from one person, and without that person, nobody exists. So that's what I wanted to say.
Thank you. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, you, the audience out there, just an observation here. We are also, or we have begun broadcasting simultaneously on Facebook and YouTube, of course, 24/7 on satellite. So, just wanted to bring that information to you. Now, please, every one of you take your rounds. I want us to go. We have only 5 minutes. 5 minutes to go to the phone calls, and then we'll call it a day. The African Development Bank signs a loan agreement with Cameroon for the construction of the so-called Bamenda Ring Road that has been on project for years. Many of us think that this money is meant to prosecute this war, is capital for this war for La République du Cameroon. Number one, what are the chances that it's going to happen? I start with Comrade John Bishop, please.
Yes, thank you, Secretary Chris. I missed my opportunity to talk because of connections. First, Secretary Chris, before I answer your question, let me just say something very clearly. The delegates who have been arrested, they should have themselves to blame because about almost 2 years ago, we gave a policy. We have been very lenient with them. I told every La République servant, every La République colonial administrator in Ambazonia, anybody working for La République to pack and leave Ambazonia. We told them, we gave them long rope. They think that they thought that we were playing, but that statement, that order that we gave still stand now. Those who are still left in Ambazonia, they have just seen what is happening. And they are seeing that our Ambazonia Restoration Forces, our ARF, are becoming more sophisticated. And I just want to announce this, that like we're saying that we have not even arrived. Let me tell you, we have not reached 50% of our potential and capacity. What is coming, I am telling you, Secretary Chris, those people who are standing on I hear some Ambazonians saying that we want to see what will happen. Those people who are sitting that this is play, that Ambazonia is going to be using, I'm sorry for you. It's time for you to join this winning team. It's time for you to join the fight. Secretary Chris, we have warned them. We have told them to go. They have not gone. We will start arresting them and we'll keep them perpetually until after the war. Now, told UNDP that their development they want to bring to Ambazonia should come after the war, is not now. How can you be bringing development when there's an ongoing war? It's the same thing these people are doing. Let me tell you, that African Development Bank, World Bank, or whatever you call them, they are funding La République indirectly. It is war funding they are giving them in the name of loan for development. Let me tell you, La République is broke. La République is dry. And so they will use all these means now to fund La République, and La République is taking that money and using it to fund the war. La République have not been paying their workers. We have been destroying for the past 6 months. Do you know how many armored cars we have destroyed? If we count those, there are even more than 100 armored cars, and not to talk of their armored pickup trucks that we have destroyed. Is that small money? La République is broke, and La République is using all these their partners, people who have been benefiting from the resources of Ambazonia, and they want it to be so because they don't think that Ambazonia is going to win this war. Let them sit and watch. We have reached 50% of our potential and capacity. There is time is coming. We are going to unleash them. We are telling all the commanders we don't want to see them in Nigeria anymore. We don't want to see them in Rwanda. We don't need weapons from Nigeria. We don't need it there anymore. We are going to use what we have developed. What you have not seen, some are going to be coming, and watch and see. So I am telling this military that are going after our people that look, enough is enough. Just if you want to live, think of your wife, your family. Don't go to fight in Ambazonia. If you find Ambazonia, many of you will die like your colleagues. You will die like your colleagues, or you will be seriously damaged. So that's what I say. This thing will not happen. All this ring road or whatever is money to fund a republic war. It's not to develop Ambazonia. That's the bottom line.
Thank you. Comrade Edwin, please, your take on this reconstruction nonsense.
Yes, Secretary Chris. We've seen over time that these people lack a sense of nationalism. La Republique is a country where a minister will be put in office. He builds a mansion and creates an apartment where they put physical cash and they actually store it there. I mean, it's unbelievable. How can a country ever develop? An opportunity like this is for them to stuff their pocket. It will never materialize. We've seen this over and over. That project has been forever. We've seen that in the building of the stadiums. It has never happened. The people just don't care about their country. They loot from their own country and they take it somewhere else. You don't even see it in the neighborhoods. So this is just crazy. It will never happen. Now, when we look at on the side of our soldiers and theirs, let me just touch on that. Our soldiers have a conviction. Theirs don't. Their soldiers depend on their paychecks. Their own fight, their colonial forces depend on paycheck. When the paycheck is not there, they don't fight. We fight based on our conviction, the belief that our destinies are in our own hands. And that's why our fighters are passionate and they are winning this fight. They are winning this fight. They don't depend on paychecks. Their fighters, their soldiers depend on their paycheck. Ours is the conviction and the courage. And this whatever project is a farce. It will never happen.
Thank you.
They are funding the war.
Please, briefly.
You talk to me, Chris.
Baristambisa.
Okay, sir.
On this reconstruction thing, the AFDB giving loans to Cameroon at every big and call.
Yeah, this is the point. What the African Development Bank or the World Bank or whoever is doing what? They are lending money. They are not giving you money. They are money lenders on their terms. I don't know how many of us are old enough to have remembered Merchant of Venice with the character there, Sherlock the money lender and the pound of flesh. When it comes to payment, they are dealing with Cameroon. The debt that is Cameroon is taking now, money lenders know that there are debts to be paid in 30, 90 years. Paul Biya will long have died. They are giving a Jewish rate. But this is the issue. Are we concerned with that? Yes. Can we stop them? No. If you see what that guy is reading in Yaoundé there, he's reading transcript document. That guy who came from the African Development Bank doesn't know what you call Rune Road. He doesn't know what structure you want to be and call it regionalization or decentralization. No, he's reading the transcript of government. If government say, look, give me 10 billion to be a 4-story building in Bamenda or Boya as a regional office, I will pay you this money, interest 30%, they will give. They will give. Because that's what government has promised. And this guy is promising this, paying this money to government of Cameroon. We as of now, we remain a part of it. But going forward, this is what concerns us. When we separate, the national debt will come in issue on that conference table for negotiation. The national debt will be an issue. 1995, the ANC at the time, they produced a document under the guardianship of Dr. Sungi. They produced a document called the BPI, Boya Peace Initiative. I still have a copy of it here in my computer. It dealt with separation and it dealt with the national. So we go to the discussion table and they say, well, you want to go, but we took 200 million to construct a ring road. You cannot inherit this debt, whereas the ring road was constructed in your place. The issue would be, was the ring road constructed? If it was not, then that national debt, we cannot take part of it. Another good example is this. They took loans from the World Bank, from the African Development Bank, from wherever the Arab and whatever you call it, to invest in Sonora. We will go to that conference table to negotiate our separation. They will say, well, you want to go with Sonora, but remember that the Arabs have an investment there of 200 billion. That debt will become our own. But we can then negotiate terms, renegotiate the terms. But again, what I'm saying is that the national they are contacting now, the lenders are giving it on the presumption that they will to pay based on the economy that they have, including us. So at the discussion table, the national debt will be an issue. For those of us who are interested, I can send you a print of the BPI, Boya Peace Initiative. A day with, not just with the national debt, a day with how our civil servants would come back, who will pay them, what will happen to their pension, and a lot of things. So again, those banks are giving those money, those jobs will never be done because they don't intend to do it. They have never ever done it, but the debt will pile on us. And at the end of the day, when we're separating, it will come to the table. So our people who are going for negotiation, get ready, the economists. The national debt will be a serious issue on the table.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Dr. Amongwa, I guess, have you spoken on this subject?
No, I have not.
All right, please weigh in here briefly. Let's move on,
right.
Please.
You have to understand that the card that La Republique is using is that they are the sort of the fulcrum of CEMAC, and if La Republique goes down, the whole region goes down. That's why they've been going all the time to the bank, and the bank has been very sympathetic with their case. But rather unfortunately, whenever they get this money, they never apply it where it should. And that's where the issue is. And obviously, Resolution 684 must come into play here, because if they take this money and go for arms, obviously that is going to change the length of the war, because even they start fighting, will probably recuperate a lot of the arms from them, and will spiral this war. So this is part, we should put it within the context of Resolution 684. It has to be made very clear that they give them this money, they're going to take a substantial amount of this money to go for arms and escalate the war, and that must be stopped.
All right, thank you.
I have not spoken.
Yes, Barrister John, please, briefly, go on.
Yes.
On, time is not on our side.
It is rather tactless for African Development Bank to inject itself into this conflict. They are now a party to this conflict on the side of the Republic. The regional director has said much about policy that is supposed to be applied in Cameroon, including decentralization. Having said that, I want to respond a little bit to what my senior colleague has said about the debts is going to be an issue. Yes, it's going to be an issue, but also know that the amount of wealth that La Republique has scattered from our territory is going to square up with that. If you look at the production of crude oil from 1970 to date, how much of that money has benefited the southern Cameroon as we speak? Which project can you point that they negotiated a loan and made in southern Cameroon? Sonora, they financed Sonora and they have been working Sonora as if Sonora is not in the territory of southern Cameroon. So it is look, we will be having specialists on that negotiating table, economists, engineers, and they will tell us how Sonora could have impacted the lives of the average southern Cameroonian in Victoria. Because how many of our people are employed in Sonora? What is the economic impact of Sonora on Paco? None actually. Even taxes are paid in Douala. So we will have to know that we will square all the wealth that has been scattered from our territory, including our natural resources, including our farm produce, but Produce Marketing Board, and all what they have done to us. We will square that, and we will not accept any foreign debt as such. we will have to evaluate. The economists, the engineers, and the cartographers will tell us what part of this debt was used to develop southern Cameroon. And let me tell you, African Development Bank is now a target of the Ambazonia Restoration Force, and all the contractors. Any contractor that will accept to put engines that they are constructing the ring road during war should be very careful, because that will be a legitimate target and they'll be taken out. They know what is happening right now. They should not try. But I know that they will never execute that project. They will never do anything. It's all noise. They will give the money so that La Republic can finance the war with it. That's all I can say.
Thank you. But
Can I just add one little thing here?
Gentlemen, we will touch one more issue very briefly. I will open the phone lines for about 10 minutes. Please, I'd like you guys to watch. Take a look at this. Listen to this guy.
We cannot hear him.
Oh.
The northwest and southwest region. Honorable Wayang Joseph, an honor from Gokutunja. If I tell you that I'm leaving this place satisfied, then there's something wrong. We have problems in the northwest and southwest region. And I want to believe that the head of states must have seen and he had a good intention of solving these problems by creating this particular institution, completing the process of decentralization, by creating the regional assembly for the northwest and southwest station, under which there's a special status covering this. But my brother, what I saw here, there is no democracy. There's an assembly of dictatorship. The budget was not voted. The standing orders not adopted. The president is taking all the decisions.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, this councillor says it's a dictatorship. There is no democracy. The budget was never voted for. I think the question we want to ask him is, who voted him to that council in the first place? We told them it was a sham, and he's not even ashamed to now come public and telling us there is no democracy. It's a dictatorship. The head of state, the president. Come on. I give you guys 50 seconds each, please. Your take on what is going on there at in Ndop. Please, Barrister John, you go first.
Yes. Chris is an enabler. Is an idiot. Let him lick his wounds. Who voted him? And to whom is he talking? He's an idiot. Let him lick his wounds. There is nothing is going to happen in that their nonsense they call special status, especially as it concerns the Southern Cameroon's Ambazonia. Let him go to hell. This is an Ambazonia from Gokutunja. He's an idiot. I hope he will show up there in Gokutunja and talk that rubbish.
Thank you. Comrade Edwin, your take on this colonial councillor here who is venting his bitterness at the absence of democracy in what they thought it was a democracy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, they should keep lying to themselves. These people are wicked. They are so wicked. Their greed is causing us a whole lot. I will rather let a La Republic soldier go free than people like this. These are the people who are giving the false image that we are one with these people. And he has the guts to stand on TV shamelessly saying that there was no democracy. There's no. I mean, what is he talking about? What is he talking about? There is problem. And this greed, this is wickedness. These people are evil. They are evil. I'm telling you, they are so evil. When I hear them, I see them, I'm so angry. I am so angry. I'm so mad just listening to people like this. I mean, this is. I mean, for how many years? How many of our people have been killed and they're still being killed? And an idiot is saying this? I mean, seriously, is he from under the waters or what?
He has no shame. Dr. Amungwa, please.
I mean, this is an embarrassment. I mean, besides the fact that we share the same county. I mean, I come from Okotunja. When I listen
I
to
guess
this,
you should know this guy personally.
it's possible that I mean, if it's the person I think he is. He's probably even a classmate, if I vaguely remember. But that's besides the point. I mean, this is the story that a lot of them will carry when this war become independent. They will come to us and tell us all sorts of flowery stories and thinking that they're going to go away with it. This is absolutely madness. I mean, as Comrade Kamara said, this is greed to the highest level. So these people just want to go there, hopefully that they're going to make money for themselves, and they care less about the carnage that is taking place in our territory. Who even elected this SP? He has the audacity to come on television and say that. I mean, I thank God that Ambazonians are actually very, very civilized people. Otherwise, this person probably has no right to live for what he stands for. But nobody.
All right, thank you. Barrister Mbisa, please, briefly.
Well, I think this man is just a symptom of the disease. There are thousands and millions of them. But this guy, I understand, was teaching in the University of Amanda. So at the very least, he can read and write. His complaint is democracy, budget. If they gave him the democracy in that year, what the council, or the budget, if he had to do it, what will he do with that budget to solve the Ambazonia in Cameroon? Zero. This is the absolute peak of stupidity. And he just doing it now. There have been many before him. What convinced the rest to think that there was something going to come out of the Grand National Dialogue? The endorse. Who are those who did it? University professors, our best minds. And then they regret in the last minute. What are they regretting for? What he went there was to take his prime, the participation, take money for participating. He didn't go there to solve any problem. If they gave him all the money, 15% of the budget of Cameroon, what will he do with it? They give their Northwest region 15% of that money, and they tell them you're in charge of schools. Schools you did not create. You don't employ teachers. How will you manage it? Is that not the absolute stupidity from an educated man? So he's just one of the millions who is speaking his mind, truth. If he was never meant to produce anything, he will produce nothing. Those are the ones when they have lost everything because they thought that they will gain out of it. They're not even gaining. They will give some big cash to the chairman, to the president. They will not give him anything. Thank you.
Thank you, Bishop John, briefly. And before you come on, I just want to open the phone lines. I am going to take phone calls for the next 15 or 14 minutes, and we will call it a day. Bishop John, please. And before you call, please,
yes,
before you call, make sure that the volume of your television set is turned down. Before you call, make sure the volume of your set is turned down, as I won't take your call. Bishop John, please, go on.
Number one, Secretary Chris, that guy is a black leg. Number two, like the barrister said, or everybody have said, he went there to get money, and he was disappointed that he did not get the money he was to get. And number three, is this guy is about our age or older than us, like my senior comrade, Dr. Mungwa, is saying that it could be a classmate. Is it now that he's just waking up to know that Cameroon is like that? You know? Now, I want to say that, Secretary Chris, he is not the only one. There are people here in the diaspora, and some are saying that, oh, we are just going to walk in the background. Some are looking at us like this. They say, that una thing, that your thing, I'm not involved. Please don't add my name. Sometimes even send a TV program to certain people. They say that to me. I don't want to be involved with that thing. They are not different to people. They are not different from people like this. There are many of them who are standing on the back line, standing behind, making all kind of comments and say that they are pretending as if they are not Ambazonians. And when we get Ambazonians today, those people still want to maintain the same position they are maintaining now. or people will stand on the front line and fight for Ambazonia. We get there, then they will come and start opening their big mouth. Like somebody like this, you will never know that he was going around and collecting like money. You will see him, he will completely change and tell you that, oh, yes, this and that. These are thieves, these are blacklegs, these are enablers, and these are people who are making us to still continue to be fighting this fight. If all people had done what they are supposed to do, like probably would have left our country long ago. We will arrest all of them and keep them until after the war. Thank you.
Hey, Chris.
Unmute.
Chris. Volume. Chris.
We can't hear you, Secretary Chris.
Volume.
Yeah, sorry about that. I was saying that apparently he went out for his share of the special status. Unfortunately, it appears they didn't admit him in the house, and you can see the disgruntledness even on his face. All right, let's get to the phone calls, please. Hello, UN.
Hello, Mr. Secretary. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. Good to hear from you. What is in your mind, briefly?
Yeah, first I want to thank all of you for the good job that you are doing there. So this is UN. I'm just calling to give my little contribution as far as the arrest that took place in Ndian is concerned. So I will not take much time. It's just about 30 seconds.
Okay.
I believe that the issue that happened in Ndian was La Republic stage game in order to term us terrorists. Let me explain it. La Republic has tried to term us terrorists. Terrorists are people who kidnap people and collect money, like the Boko Haram and the rest. So this is what is happening. La Republic has established friendly ties with Nigeria on as a country. And then
UN, hold on there. UN, hold on there. So you don't believe the president in his statement when he says we have them in custody?
No, I believe them. I believe.
So why do you think it's a conspiracy from the Republic?
No. As I said to you, 1 second. Let me explain. 1 second. I'm not saying it's a conspiracy. I know that we have the Indian people have them. I want to explain it. La Republic has tried to term us as terrorists to no avail. And now, what happened is that they only have ties with Nigeria. And again, in order to make sure that we can call us mercenaries and whatsoever, they send one of their sister forces, which is Ayeba, to make a link with the Biafra people. And then, that is the reason why they send those people without enough security, so that if we get them, we can come out and say, okay, we have these people with us, come and pay us ransom. And then they will use it and say we are a terrorist state. Let me explain why. Because as soon as the news came that they arrested those people, one of theirs, who is Tumasa Martin, he came out and said that general is working with Dr. Sako, and if Dr. Sako doesn't come out to say this thing and whatsoever, it means that it is a ransom. And another person from Kuningi Mafia Group, they call him Don Pasho. He said, yes, we've arrested those people. We need 1 billion CFA. So the approach was that they wanted the interim government to come and endorse that these people, we have them and we have adopted. Whereas we are saying that we arrested them, they said we abducted them. So that if the interim government said they abducted them, they need money. Now they will use it against us. You understand? These things are coming at the same time that La Republic, at the same time that the United Nations, America and the rest, they're asking us to go and sit down, and they are trying everything possible to see if we can support Manga, who is sponsoring, the indirect help of maybe weapons and all those things. Intergovernment failed to do that. They failed to stop lockdown and goes down, and that is the agenda. How on earth will you believe that the Republic will allow delegates without enough security? It is because they knew that we are going to hold them, and we hold them, we come out there. Remember, the paper, what Don Pasho was doing, he was reading it from a paper. It's a well-crafted message that he was reading from a paper that, yes, we abducted them. He did not say we arrest them. We abducted them. And we are asking 1 billion. Thank you.
Thank you for the call. I guess if that was actually the case, the Republic would have known by now that those impostors do not belong to us. They are not part of us. We are a government, and rooks like the fellows you are mentioning, they got nothing to do with this, with decisions taken at this government, because they are not part of the government. Again, I like to make it very, very clear. We arrested them. We have them. We will keep them until when a settlement is reached for this war. All right, let's get to the next caller here. Hello. Hello. Hello, can you shut down the volume of your TV, sir, the background?
Hello?
Yes, sir. May I know where you're calling from, please?
Yes, I'm calling from La République Douala.
Okay, and what is your opinion, sir?
Yes, I really thank you people for the job you people are doing in IG. We appreciate that, and we know that our struggle is God's struggle, and God will see us through. This is my time. This is my first time to participate. I've been watching ABC for quite a 1 week now. Hello.
That is in La République, right?
Yes, Douala, yes.
Okay.
Yes, I really appreciate you. I'm just watching you people live. I'm just appreciating you people, especially you, Secretary Chris, for the job you people are doing. And my prayer and our prayer all together is that God has already answered us to giving us back our land.
All
and
right.
We know that, yes, because here in La République, there are so many La République citizens that they are saying that, wow, you people, some of my friends will say that, wow, you people will make like that and have you people freedom. I say, yes, we must take back our country. Our country that was in 1954 to 1961, we must take it back. And you people will see how the government role is on people, not as you people are the government in the system of French is not a good system. So
right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank
yes.
you. You guys remain safe out there. All right, let's get to the next caller quickly. Ground Zero calling. Hello. Yes, please turn down the volume of your TV in the background. Turn it down, please.
I'm not beside the TV, City Chris. I'm calling from Ground Zero, Batibo.
Batibo, okay. How was Ghost Town Day today?
Very, very effective, City Chris. Everything is quite all right.
Okay, wonderful. So, what else is your contribution?
City Chris, my contribution is about this our struggle. If there's a way nobody can enter Batibo to support the guys in Batibo, I think this will be very better, because if you see the way these people are moving in Witikum, it's just like they have free liberty, which is not correct. They move anyhow the way they like. So that's also I want to contribute, and I thank all of you in the studio. May God guide and protect you people. Thank you.
Thank you. If no PT has to come to Batibo, your local government in your county would have to initiate that. I hope they are united enough to be able to do that. Thanks for the call. Let's get to the next caller here. Hello, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Calling from where?
I'm calling from Mezam County.
Mezam County. Okay, and what is in your mind, sir?
Now, I just wanted to say something concerning what you and I just made. You know, there's a saying in our pidgin English that when snake bite you, you see earthworm will run. That is what he has in him. Since he was sometimes bitten by a snake, he just see anything coming in form of a snake, he starts shouting snake, 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 and of which that thing is not a real snake. So you should know that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. God bless. Remain safe. Okay, who is next here? Hello. Good evening, sir. Can you turn down the set in your background, please?
Yeah, it's done.
Secretary, I really appreciate you guys on the studio tonight, but I have a different take. I'm very sorry. I'm calling from Europe. I have a different take on this issue. I don't think we really have infrastructure to keep these people. We are guerrilla fighters who are moving from one place to another, and we attack anywhere. We create strategies. We cannot be running with these people, or we cannot be moving with these people in our land. So I don't know if that idea of arresting them and keeping them is a good idea. And then number two, the fact that La Republique, the fact that these impostors in our side, they are claiming responsibility on actions that are being carried out by the IG is not stupid. They are not stupid. Let me give you guys the strategy that these guys are using. They are creating several groups, because this is what they have been saying since that they don't really know who to talk to. So they create several groups that will always do this, that will always come in. Ayaba has like 6 or 7 different spokespersons. Don Pacho is talking his own. The other guy, Capo Chrisman, is talking his own. And you have Sheikh Kavi is talking. There are so many of them. So that's just to tell you who they are. Sheikh Kavi has been to La Republique. If you don't know, I'm back.
I know that. I know that. You know, I reported that here, right?
Yes, I know very, very well, Secretary. So I just want to reiterate this point.
Well, listen, let me cut you short there. Let me cut you short there. I don't think you think that those of us here at the interim government taking those decisions, you don't think we are stupid, right?
No, I don't think you guys are taking. I'm talking about our audience, because so many people get carried away. They think that these guys are fighting. I know, Secretary, that you guys are very smart. If you guys were not smart, we would not be here today. Honestly.
Right, so I'm saying that to say that for the president to say going forward all captives would be detained, you can imagine that serious thought has been put into that, and so we really know what we're talking about here. And
okay,
as far,
I understand that.
And as far as Sayaba and the rest that are concerned, they are nothing but opportunists. Where are they fighting? If they were fighting, wouldn't they be claiming it and going public and telling people, showing people exactly what they are doing? They wait until people like No PT, they go out and they carry out attacks on the Republic. They rush out, try claiming it. These are opportunists. They have no place in this struggle. Let me get to the next caller here. Hello. Hello.
Yeah, good evening, Secretary Chris.
Good evening, sir. May I know where you are calling from, please?
I'm calling from Apakwa Town.
Apakwa Town. What is in your mind?
Yeah, I want to talk in reference to the loan from the African Bank.
Okay, quickly.
Yeah, I want that you people issue a letter, official letter to them declining paying their money, because the Republic is doing this so that when we get to Swiss, they will say the money was loaned and invested in our land, so we should pay for it. So please, you send them an official letter making them to know that we are not going to pay for that money.
Well, La Republic would have to show us where they invested the money in our land, right, before we pay for it, right? If they say they are constructing a ring road and they cannot construct a ring road, wouldn't they have to prove where they use the money?
Well, okay, except so.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. The last caller. Let me get, this is the last caller for the night. Hello. Hello. Please turn down the volume of your TV and focus on your phone. Okay, I lost that caller there. Let's give opportunity to this person. Hello. Turn down the volume of your set, please.
Yeah, it's down.
Okay, where are you calling from?
Calling from Mason County.
Okay, and what is your contribution, sir?
Yeah, I want to thank you people, Secretary Chris, for this wonderful job. It is eloquent. One thing I would like to tell us is that, please, we were actually on an equal status, and today we are on a special status. You know, the issue of the ring road did not start today. So it is one of those tools in the briefcase of La République that they are using maybe to get loans to continue fighting this war. What I would like to tell us, or maybe let us know, is that the ring road aspect, whether the ring road issue is a matter, it's an event. These people don't have a strategy, they don't have a focus. They don't even know what they are doing. They are opportunists. So if you look at the road from Bunda to Bamenda, since Raze and Satum came to launch that project, they used the monies meant for this same project to go back and see if they could complete the stadiums in La République to be able to host the 2019 Nations Cup, but they failed. These are just some of the strategies. Maybe they are going out of bankruptcy and they want to get the money from the African Development Bank, whether the African Development Bank for against the ring road that they don't have a mastery, they don't have a study about it to use against us. I think I support the last caller that we should be able to write a letter to the African Development Bank, telling them we distance ourselves from all of this mess. I think, Secretary, it is the high moment that we need fire to raise the standard of fire into every area. Lebialem is up, Bui is up, Mezam, Bambili and Bambui, they are coming up. It is high time we raise and increase the fire in this area.
Thank you
for what is happening in Ndian, and we encourage the chairman there to keep doing more. Thank you, people, for this wonderful job. We are behind you, strongly behind you people.
Thank you for the call. And of course, Bali too is up. Bali is doing a wonderful job. And I really wish Santa would take care just of that stretch of the road between Upstation Bamenda and Mbunda. Anywhere along that line. Gentlemen, please, let me give you 2 seconds each. I have a plane to catch, and I got to get out of here. Let me give you 2 seconds each. Please say something before I go.
Should I start?
Dr. Mungwa, please.
Okay, right. Very, very quick. I think the last 2 callers just made something very clear, that this letter to be written to the African Bank makes sense. I understand that the human rights group have done the same thing. So when you have people complaining to such an organization, I'm sure they should be able to sit back and think about what needs to be done. But at the same time, I have to make it very clear that when you have projects of this nature, just that announcement, it doesn't mean that the project is going to take hold. There are lots of other rounds that have to go through in order for the president to sign, because the president of the bank is the last person to sign. So the fact that they just come to Yaoundé to announce it, it's more of a political stunt. It doesn't necessarily mean that the project will take hold. That's all I wanted to say. Oh, we can't hear you, Chris.
Comrade Edwin, what would you want to tell your people out there in Ndian Place, very briefly?
Yes, Secretary Chris. I want to thank the Ndianites, my people in Ndian County, the Defense Council, the leadership, all those who are sacrificing their time, talent, and treasure to make it happen in our homeland. And I also want to appeal to all those who are still on the sideline complaining or giving excuses that Ambazonia and Ndian is for the Ndianite, Ambazonia is for Ambazonians. It is about time to rise up. I believe that this is the best time to be part of this revolution. And I think the best place to be right now is part of Ndian County. So, and I also want to say, speak to all those whose families were abducted. It's about time that you hold the BR government responsible so they can produce your family members. So, thank you, and long live Ambazonia.
Thank you, comrade. Thank you. Barisambesa, please, briefly.
Briefly, I think what we'll take home is that last message from that so-called councillor, regional councillor. The regional council at the last stage of the so-called decentralization from Yaoundé. It has failed. It has failed. That's from the appointed senators. If it has failed, even our brothers and sisters who have been doubting, what have you left? Get to the fold. The marriage is over. Or come out rebuild, we will get back ourselves. You're welcome. You're an enabler before. Now you've realized. Come back home. Yaoundé has failed. Its last project to help you, pretending to help you, has failed. So come back home. Ndian go on. We go on. We are winning. Not by step, not step by step, winning in longer strides than we done before. Thank you.
Thank you. Barrister John, please.
Yes, Chris, thank you very much. I want to tell Ambazonians that we have the capability to keep prisoners of war, just like the Viet Congs kept prisoners, American prisoners during the Vietnam War. We have the capability. We have the camps. We can move with them. We can do whatever we want to do. So Ambazonians should know that we have the capability of keeping those prisoners. We will keep them. Number two, like my colleagues have said, we have won this war. I'm calling on La Republique to stand down, to surrender. If they cannot surrender, well, let them rush to the negotiating table and negotiate ceasefire. Otherwise, we will chase all of them out of our territory, and there will be no need for even any negotiation. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir. Bishop John, the last word, briefly.
Thank you very much. I want to send a word to the Ambazonia forces, the ARF, that they should start setting traps in all their camps. They should stop La Republique from coming right into their camps and invading them, into their village and invading them. They should anticipate when La Republique go, how La Republique is going to come, and make sure their camps are secure, so La Republique cannot come in there and go alive. That's one thing I want to tell them. I want to advise every other commander, whoever is out there who have not joined the Le Français movement, that they should join the Le Français movement. They should see that Le Français and all these our own man-made or locally made materials are the one producing the result. Let them use the AKs and all what they have for their self-defense. But what we need is for them to beef up their ability to produce these homemade materials, because we need them everywhere in Ambazonia. Now, also, last word to all Ambazonians. If you're an Ambazonian, anywhere you are, stop being on the sideline. It is time for you to join the winning team. It's time for you to take part and stop saying that I'm supporting from the back. We need everybody. We need those experienced people to take part, to bring their talent and their ability on the front line or not on the side. God bless you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you for participating in this broadcast today. I want to wish all of you a good night, and for all of you down on ground zero and ground one, of course,